Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Wednesday, a wet Wednesday morning, and we are excited to be here to serve you nothing but the best breakfast on television. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 TV. I am Nana Duffuor Boateng. It's quite an interesting morning for me because I'm going to be sharing some statistics with you. Statistics that might not entirely excite you. And I call this one From Travel to Tragedy. Okay, imagine leaving home for work, saying goodbye to your family and never to return. Imagine leaving home to travel for an event, a program, or even to visit the extended family and not to return. This is the stark reality of traveling in Ghana. And so I call it travel to tragedy. The dangers on our roads. We know that road crashes are as a result of a multifaceted causes, right? But experts have put human error as the major cause of road crashes in the country. Now, here are the stats that I talk about. Did you know that between January and June this year, on the average, 8 lives are lost to road crashes? Think about it. 8 lives every single day on the average lost as a result of road crashes. Now, if this doesn't scare you, then I'm not sure what else would. And so you're leaving home and your fingers are clutched together like that, and you are praying that the good Lord Almighty will take care of your going out and your coming in, because you are not too sure of what you're going to come across once you set off from home to work, or you travel to wherever it is that you're going. But the stats are really scary, and so I'm going to break it down. Here's what official data from the Police MTTD and the National Road Safety Authority reveals. Every single day in Ghana, 8 lives are lost to road crashes. 40 crashes occur across the country. 46 people are injured. 69 vehicles and motorcycles are involved. Just pay attention to the figures. Every single day in Ghana, between January and June 2025, every single day in Ghana, on the average, 8 lives are lost to road crashes. 40 crashes occur across the country. 46 people are injured, and 69 vehicles and or cars and motorcycles are involved in crashes on a daily. And this is quite dangerous, and we need to take responsibility of our own safety on the road, okay? And so we'd like to commend the National Road Safety Authority. They have begun an exercise, one, to remove unauthorized billboards or signages across the country, and of course, illegally mounted billboards. Now, what this happens is that it obstructs your vision, okay, and it causes distraction. And so the Road Safety Authority has served warning. Actually, the exercise has begun in several parts of the capital already. It served warning that from August, this exercise will be intensified. And we want to say kudos to the National Road Safety Authority. But for you, the commuter, the pedestrian, the driver, the pillion rider, the cycle rider, whatever vehicle it is, once you are on the road, you need to take utmost responsibility for your own safety. I mean, there are causes that we can attribute to the absence of road infrastructure. There are causes that we can attribute to poor road networks. There are those we can attribute to poorly maintained vehicles, or even vehicles developing faults along the roads. There are tracks that are broken down on the roads and haven't been towed. I mean, a plethora of causes, right? But experts have put human activity or human error as the major cause of road accidents in the country. So please, let's stop the reckless driving, let's stop the speeding, and let's be sure enough to protect each other whilst we are on the road. It's for our own safety, it's for our own good, so that we stop losing lives to road crashes. Shalom. Now, are you a student between the ages of 11 to 15 years? Are you looking to think, analyze, and write your way through hearts and minds all the way to the top? Then let's tell you about the Literacy Challenge 2025. It's back, it's bigger, and it's better. 3 stages for the Literacy Challenge, and stage 1 includes an essay competition. The topic for this year is, in not less than 600 words, discuss the effects of climate change on agriculture in Ghana. What challenges do these effects create for individuals, families, communities, and the nation? Suggest practical solutions to help all Ghanaians mitigate these challenges. Now, you should be able to submit your script on or before this Saturday. That's July 26. It's the deadline for submission. So you should be tidying up your entries by now. Your scripts should be ready, and your scripts must be in your own handwriting. Your script must be endorsed by a parent or guardian, and you should add your full contact details to your script. Submit same on or before Saturday, July 26. No entries will be admitted after Saturday, so please make sure to submit them down. Now, here are the various ways that you can submit your entries. You can do so via post, okay? You can mail it to us at the Literacy Challenge, P.O. Box, GP 14123. GP 14123 Accra Central. P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central. Or you can drop it off at the front desk of City FM in Adabraka, or here at Channel 1 TV in Tessano, Accra. All right. The Literacy Challenge is brought to you by 97.3 City FM with support from Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by Bell Moo and the GB Assessment. Be part of the Literacy Challenge. There's 10,000 Ghana cedis up for grabs, a trophy, and you get to walk away with the bragging rights as the most outstanding all-round student for the year 2025. So do well to be a part of the Literacy Challenge this year. Submit your entries on or before July 26. No entries will be admitted after July 26. So do your best to submit your entries from now till Saturday. All right? And let's find out who walks away with the bragging rights as the most outstanding all-round student of the year. Okay, that said, let's tell you what happens on TV on Sundays and why you should choose Channel 1 TV on Sundays. Because on Sundays at 6:30 p.m., we bring you the Volunteers TV show. This show is designed to help you navigate your way through volunteerism, know which endeavors you should partake in, which volunteer projects or activities are available to you, how, when, and why you should be a volunteer. We get people who have been in the volunteering space for over a period, get to share their experiences with us, and of course, all of us can join in the spirit of volunteerism, which is quite important because nation building is a shared responsibility, right? And so we all need to contribute our quota to develop this beautiful nation called Mother Ghana. So join Stephen Kwekudakon on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. for the Volunteers TV show. It's always exciting, very informative, as well as educative. And it airs every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. here on Channel 1 TV. Be a part of the Volunteers TV show. Be a volunteer. All right. Let's take you to the newspapers and find out what's happening on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Start off with the Daily Graphic, which says, law-backed development plan a must. Na Andani proposes. Law-backed development plan a must. Na Andani proposes. We'll look at this subsequently. Maybe not today, but we'll look into this and bring you a feature on it. Why I think it's important that our development plan should be backed by law, because this will rid it of political interference. And so on this score, the nation is developed based on a development plan and not a political manifesto. So that will be the difference. Perhaps the NDPC, that's the National Development Planning Commission, should have a legal backing. You get it? And of course, the plans that they developed should be backed by law and make it binding on political administrations. So whichever party comes to power rules or develops the country based on the existing plan. We'll be looking at it. I have to do a little digging, and then we can do a feature on this on the show someday. All right, but that's the front page of the Daily Graphic. Now Andani is proposing a law-backed development plan, which I absolutely 100% agree to. All right, let's look at other stories. Children abandon school for marijuana farms in Volta region. Hey! Children abandon school for marijuana farms in Volta region. Interesting. Graphic, NIC, GIA insurance affair tomorrow. Attorney General discontinues case against Duffuor and 7 others, recovers required funds. Well, if there's been some recovery, we are all for it. But if it's just an outright discontinuation of the case and the state hasn't benefited from it, then I'm not too sure what's happening. All right, that's the front page of the Daily Graphic. Let's check out what's on the back page of the paper, which says Ghana's Rita Africa to train over 15,000 tech professionals in Zimbabwe. Then you have Lodina Foundation donates to Techimai North Health System. That's the back page of the Daily Graphic. Let's jump into some other papers. The Herald newspaper is here, has a picture of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Christian Tete Yohunu, and the story says IGP Yohunu sparks trouble in police service with post-retirement contract, puts Mahama's reforms and succession pledge in crisis. Okay. Forestry Commission boss under fire over timber deals. Lands Minister moves in on him. Forestry Commission boss under fire over timber deals. Lands Minister moves in on him. Attorney General gives reasons for dropping charges against Duffuor and others. Supreme Court shreds Kevin Taylor's arrest warrant. Energy Minister applauds bust for operational efficiency. VRA pays final respects to founding giant Erasmus Kalichi. That's the Herald newspaper this morning. Let's bring you the Chronicle. Chronicle says, police gun down robbers at cantonments in Accra. Police gun down robbers at cantonments in Accra. NPP minority want to present a petition to Mahama. We know that the minority in parliament has requested audience with the President John Dramani Mahama. They say they have a petition that borders on issues of public concern. They're looking to make that presentation on Thursday. We'll keep an eye on that and bring you up to speed regarding how that transpires. All right. Families of murdered 44 Ghanaians pray for compensation. Families of murdered 44 Ghanaians pray for compensation. Mahama Care bill approved, but minority opposed 20% funding from NHIS. Mahama Care bill approved, but minority opposed 20% funding from NHIS. Now let's bring you a verse of scripture for today, which is taken from the book of Ezra, chapter number 7, the verse number 26, and it reads, "Whoever will not observe the law of your God and the law of the king, let judgment be executed upon him strictly. Whoever will not obey or observe the law of your God and the law of the king, let judgment be executed upon him strictly." That's the Chronicle newspaper this morning. Let's see what some other papers are saying. I'll take you to the Ghanaian Times. Front page says, unauthorized VIP protection. Desist from it. Interior Minister warns. Unauthorized VIP protection. Desist from it. Interior Minister warns. 962 small-scale mining licenses risk revocation. That's according to the Lands Minister. And then you have AG drops Unibank case against Dr. Duffuor and others. Then chieftaincy clash sparks fear in Duffuor. Chieftaincy clash sparks fear in Duffuor. That's the front page of the Ghanaian Times. On the back page, PMAG donates 2.2 million CD drugs for Mahama Cares Fund. PMAG, that's the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana, donates 2.2 million Ghana cedis drugs for Mahama Cares Fund. You have First Northern Ghana Development Conference held in Tamale. That's it for the Ghanaian Times. Where's the Daily Guide? Yes, the Daily Guide is here. Front page says, AG frees Kwabna Duffuor. AG frees Kwabna Duffuor. And then you have SC, that's the Supreme Court, quashes 5-year Kevin Taylor arrest warrant. SC quashes a 5-year Kevin Taylor arrest warrant. Energy Ministry records 15.8 billion Ghana cedis irregularities. That's according to a report. Energy Ministry records 15.8 billion cedis irregularities. Wow, that's damning. Wow. NPP boycotts Ablekuma North MP swearing in. NPP, that's the minority in parliament, boycotts Ablekuma North MP swearing in. Mahama Cares bill passed amid minority opposition. Mahama Cares bill passed amid minority opposition. In some other newspapers, the new publisher says Armed Forces ammunition missing. National Security probes 2024 movement without records. Armed Forces ammunition missing. National Security probes 2024 movement without records. AG drops charges against Dr. Duffuor. And you have Jerry Rubbish's I'll sell my seat story as, okay, it's morning TV, so we'll leave it there. Edem leads safer digital campaign to protect children. That's the new publisher. The Informer says, politics is in my DNA. That's Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh speaking there. Then you have acting CJ flags ethical breaches and thievery among lawyers. Not everyone can be president. Chairman Sabonsu advises NPP. Minority criticizes 20% NHIF allocation to Mahama Cares. Minority criticizes 20% NHIF allocation to Mahama Cares. Now, ahead of mid-year budget review, IEAG slams finance minister over exclusion. IEAG slams finance minister over exclusion. Army trainees face dismissal over eligibility requirements. Army trainees face dismissal over eligibility requirements. All right. So those are some of the newspapers for today. You can walk to any newsstand near you, get a copy of these papers, and you can have all the details therein. Now, let me take you online briefly. I start with citynewsroom.com. Citynewsroom.com says, BOG orders shipping firms to publish daily FX rates. BOG orders shipping firms to publish daily FX rates. Minority rights to Mahama demands audience over national issues. Minority rights to Mahama demands audience over national issues. Lenda Oklu, that's the Greater Accra Regional Minister speaking here, and she says 2 months enough for Ramsar site encroachers to relocate. 2 months enough for Ramsar site encroachers to relocate. We know she's embarking, or not embarking, she's resumed the demolition exercise on Ramsar sites within the country of structures that have been illegally erected at Ramsar sites. And she's saying that the 2 months are enough for encroachers to relocate. Reading from citynewsroom.com and some other stories on citynewsroom.com says, AG discontinues prosecution of Kobna Duffuor, 7 others. AG discontinues prosecution of Kobna Duffuor and 7 others. Patricia Appiagyei replaces Afenyo Markin in ECOWAS Parliament. Patricia Appiagyei replaces Afenyo Markin in ECOWAS Parliament. Just so you know, she has rejected this, saying that the removal of Alexander Afenyo Markin, the minority leader, is unjust and unlawful. Afenyo Markin currently sits as, I think, the deputy speaker at the ECOWAS Parliament. But however, following a reshuffle, Patricia Appiagyei, the deputy minority leader, is to replace him on the or at the ECOWAS Parliament, and she has written to the speaker to reject that elevation. We'll be looking into this matter to bring you different perspectives to it. Now, Accra RecSec resumes demolition of illegal structures. I mentioned that to you earlier. Education Minister directs Get Fund to list all uncompleted school projects. Education Minister directs Get Fund to list all uncompleted school projects. Then you have don't use overwhelming majority to bully minority. Backbone to NDC MPs. Do not use overwhelming majority to bully minority. Backbone to NDC MPs. When you go to Wa West, 2 dead after canoe capsizes on Black Volta. And then you have backbone to MPs, avoid violence ahead of Akwetia by-election. Then there's a final one that says calm gradually returns to Nkwanta after days of unrest. Now let me take you to channel1newsonline.com. channel1newsonline.com. Volta chiefs alarmed by surge in illegal marijuana farms. Volta chiefs alarmed by surge in illegal marijuana farms. And one of the papers have also captured the story that says students abandon school for marijuana farms. Perhaps the NACOC needs to look into what exactly is happening in the Volta region regarding the illegal growth or illegal cultivation of marijuana. Other stories on channel1newsonline.com. National Vice Chair bid still under consideration. This is Divine Otu Agohum. He is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman for the New Patriotic Party. He sat with Umaru Sanda Amadu on the face-to-face program here on Channel 1 TV. Mahama Cares, a manufactured legacy project. Kwadaso MP alleges. And he was speaking on Channel 1 Newsroom last night with Vivian Kai Loco. AG's decision to drop Duffuor case smacks of Operation Clear or Loot. That's Hassan Tampuli speaking there. When you move to other stories, Mahama Cares to boost specialist care and infrastructure. Central Tongue MP Alexander Roosevelt, he sat with Vivian Kai Loco on the Channel 1 Newsroom last night. Patricia Appiagyei declines appointments to ECOWAS Parliament, as I mentioned earlier. Freight forwarders demand full enforcement of BOG Port FX Directive. Bui Power Authority urges intensified fight against Galamsey in catchment area. Parliament passes Mahama Cares Bill 2025. So you can get the details of these stories and several others on channel1newsonline.com as well as citynewsroom.com. And you can also go onto the Google Play Store and download the City News or the Channel 1 News app. I beg your pardon. Go to the Google Play Store, download the Channel 1 News app, and you can have access to all there's relevant information, up to date, current, and of course, trustworthy news on the Channel 1 News app. But this is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 TV. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll begin the news review segment.
Curious about what's happening beyond your borders? Beyond Borders takes you there. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m., join Caleb Kuda as he explores the stories that shape our world, connecting you with Ghanaians in other cultures and seeing the world through their eyes.
So we've learned one thing: you leave your shoes outside. Wow.
Tuesday, yeah. You know, I won't go to Ghana dressed in a Lacoste.
As director of operations.
From international politics to the human stories that define nations, Beyond Borders brings you a fresh perspective of Ghanaians around the world, one conversation at a time. Beyond Borders with Caleb Kuda airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV. In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
Let's get into the world of sports like never before.
No one ball, what back? You know how we do it on Fridays.
Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. on 97.3 City FM for Sports Panorama, your ultimate destination for all things sports.
One of the biggest scandals in this country's history. You can't spend 250 million USD and come out with that.
Blasters Auto Ado
From the thrill of association football to the excitement of basketball, tennis, athletics, and even emerging sports, we cover it all. Whether it's the Premier League or the latest NBA showdown, we bring you the stories behind the stars.
Getting an opportunity to become a national team coach, you should understand the politics around football.
And don't miss the prayer of the rabbi.
Joe was Zebaut.
How Zebaut there?
Zebaut won Chaboke Walako.
We're not just about the games, we're about the community.
If you are going to be given this kind of treatment, then you need to be that guy. When I look at him play, he is not it.
Or when it's time for Don't Call Me.
Moria Piki, Piki. No,
Join the conversation as we connect with fans across the country and beyond. Want the latest updates? Send us your thoughts and we'll feature your comments live on air. And remember, we like to hear your predictions for matches and your thoughts in general. Think you know who's going to win? Let us know.
Big shout outs to my YouTube people.
Tune in every Friday at 7 p.m. only on 97.3 City FM. Sports Panorama, where sports come alive.
Me can man be money your Kofi Adam no my coming. Matwale. Man Kela can no yane. Meneke. Famous Shako club and fake DJ. No here kawashi. Yes, me. Amen.
Sports Panorama, your weekly sports fix. Don't miss out on the action. Sports Panorama. Catch the excitement every Friday.
Hello there, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. It's time for the news review segment. We're going to go straight into it. Today we have quite a number of topics to look at, and so hopefully we're able to make judicious use of our time and of course bring you perspectives on the various issues. But the show is interactive. We want to hear from you. So send us your thoughts, your comments and your contributions via the WhatsApp number. We're live on social media. We're live on YouTube, on Facebook. And you can tweet at us, but don't forget to use the hashtag #BreakfastDaily. Let us know what you think about the various topics that we will be discussing. In studio with me this morning, to my immediate right is Wanda Madilo. He's communications or a member of the NDC's communications team. Good morning, Wanda.
Good morning.
Good to see you. And then, of course, a regular on a Wednesday morning, Engineer Kosidede is also here. Engineer, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's get straight into it. The Attorney General is at it again. This time he has discontinued the case against Dr. Kwabena Duffuor and 7 others. The issue of the financial sector cleanup and the criminal charges that were preferred against these individuals. Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, then owner and CEO of the Unibank and its subsidiaries, was facing some criminal charges or owing to misappropriation of funds and, of course, other issues. The AG has discontinued the case and has issued a statement regarding saying yesterday, which statement was signed by the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Oshrem Sai. It says some recoveries have been made. We do not have the specifics on that yet, but I'll throw it to my guest and then we'll find out what their thoughts are on this matter. Wanda, let me start from you. The AG, since taking office, has dropped some high-profile cases, entered nolli prosequi in a number of cases. The recent one being that of Dr. Kwabena Duffuor and some 7 other individuals. First off, your take on this approach. Could the AG have allowed the case to travel its course and the courts pronounce judgment or make a final declaration on this matter? I'm asking same because in the statement of the AG signed by Justice Oshrem Sai, it says that the discontinuation of the case does not mean that there was no wrongdoing or does not exonerate the persons involved.
Yeah, so very good morning to all your viewers. This is a matter that we have, as it were, overflogged, you know, from 2018 all the way to 2020, when Duffuor and the 7 others were taken to court.
Yeah.
You know, in matters of this nature, you know that per our jurisprudence, there are civil and there are criminal issues. In government's pursuits, majority of the times these are criminal pursuits. And criminal pursuits do not usually yield the needed loss that was, no, it doesn't really give you, what do you, the
as
return
a recovery
of the funds, the recovery of the loss as was occasioned if you pursue the criminal, because penal charges may be that go to jail 5 years, 10 years, but the person has stolen billions. So I think that is where part of the issue is. We need to find a balance. And what's the balance? And the background to this, we all know that when the MPP decided to do the banking sector cleanup, there were a lot of concerns as to how that was going to roll out. We were told that we had a crisis of a 9 billion Ghana cedis at the time. By the time they finished it, they had used 24 billion. Depending on who you are listening to, 24 billion, 25 billion, as it were, eventually. Which in itself is a reckless use of our funds in itself. Because it costs only 400 million Ghana cedis to set up a bank. Maybe another 600 million cedis to do your other stuff. So $1 billion can set up a bank. And these are banks that were having, you know, capital base and assets of running to billions. We were told that the government, you know, prior to the assumption of the MPP government, had, you know, extended some facilities to some of these banks for capital adequacy. That's true, and we all saw that this was done, and it's done all over the world. In fact, if you remember the crisis in the US when AIG was going down, the American government is decided to, you know, to shoulder the burden, so that that will be against the number of jobs that will be lost, the livelihoods that will be put under penury and all that. And eventually, we know that AIG is still doing very well and strong. Now, in our part of the world, some funds were, you know, extended to some of these banks for them to continue their operations and to support their capital adequacy. It was no fault of the banks at the time, because government at the time had only 120 million as part of the requirement for your primary reserve. Then the government itself shot it up to 400 million. You know, so you will expect that all the banks, their shareholders, their directors will cough out some money to show up, you know, the difference in the capital adequacy or the reserve at the Bank of Ghana. And I don't think enough time was given to some of them. Yes, you can say that they had given them enough time and published it and all that, but it's not easy coming by money. If I set up a bank in mind that I'm going to use 120 billion, and you 120 million, and you wake up one day and tell me now the 120 is not adequate, and that you need 400 million, you cannot, you know, but wait and see the way they progress. How much profit do the banks declare at the end of the year? Profit after tax, how much? So even if you want me to extend my capital adequacy to 400 million, you will still need to give me some time. Now, a lot of these banks that went down, especially Unibank, the Indum GN Group, they have consistently indicated that, look, you have given out contracts to people without funding, without paying them. Some of these contractors have come to me.
They've taken loans
and they've taken loans from me. You have still refused to pay them, and because of that, it's running into bad debt. What is the honest thing to do? Instead of giving them money, why won't you rather pay the contractors or have an agreement to pay them so that they can offset their debt, so that the so-called inadequacy of capital ratio can be taken care of? Even after that, you can still go back and do your audit and find out whether the stories were true or not. But government didn't do that. They suffocated them, didn't pay the contractors. The banks were virtually struggling. But we never recorded any occasion where anybody went to any of these banks and they said that they didn't have money to pay them. We never saw that. What we saw is that some high-handedness, and you will observe that some people have gone to court. Some of those banks that were affected have actually gone to court and gotten favorable outcomes. Indum, for instance, is getting some favorable outcomes in that regard. I know that this guy is in jail. What's his name? the capital banker,
Atuesian
is in jail and all that. If truly something untoward has been done, that we understand. But if it is not untoward, because you read in the report those days some level of victimization. The car bank man just spoke, recently, and he talked about some of those things. The Indum guy also spoke. Indum also spoke to this and talked about victimization. The UT Bank man also talked about victimization. Unibank also talked. It cannot be that they came together to conspire to say something against the MPP government. We all saw what they did. Prior to their coming to office, insurance companies and other investment companies like our own former finance ministers were all struggling. None of those found their way on the list. But we saw very strong banks like UT Bank that we all know at the time, was doing very well. Unibank doing very well. Of course, Capital Bank, their transition was so quick, you could not tell exactly what was happening. But that happened. And eventually we had to spend about 25 billion in rescuing a problem that only should have cost us 9 billion. I am not excited when it comes to criminal prosecutions. For instance, it can take forever. And you may not even recover the money. Yeah. For instance, Namwan's case, while people are expecting that Namwan going to court back and forth to bring money, it won't bring nothing. Because it's a criminal prosecution. Yeah. But if somebody had pursued the civil aspect of it, then you can be talking about compensation. You can be talking about regaining your loss and all that. Everybody's busy trying to put the guy in jail. Putting him in jail won't put the food or the money on your table. Now the AG have taken some decisions. Yeah. What are some of those decisions? One, let's recover what was lost. Because the whole business of this project is the recovery of the loss. Right. This is a private bank. It's not a bank owned by government. I don't know if you get my point. Yeah. So it's not as though he has embezzled some state funds. No. This is a privately owned bank. Government gave a loan to a bank. If you give me a loan and I'm unable to pay, it's not a criminal offense. And so to be in court and be making noise about how that they have stolen money, which money was stolen? If you give me a loan, it's purely a corporate transaction, it's purely a civil transaction, and it should be taken at that. But if you go back to say that, they've invested the money, or they invested in some instrument that didn't yield results, and you want to punish them, and you want to go to court, would that bring us the money? For me as a Ghanaian, what I want is a recovery of the funds. And at what point did non-prosecutor become, an error in law? It is the exercise and within the ambit of the AG to decide which case he wants to prosecute or not prosecute. Nobody can stop him. And the law does not even put any burden on him to explain to anybody how, why, when those things are done. So I hear the MPP making a lot of noise about, and the vice president is trying to clear people and all that. You started this case in 2020. How many years after 2020? How many years?
I think the MPP then could have concluded
if you really have proper evidence, how many years? Are we going to follow a criminal prosecution in court? So every day the AG has to marshal state, prosecutors, state, what's the name, investigators, go to court back and forth over and over. We're still not recovering the money. Nothing is done, and then we're in court, and that's what we are excited about. So eventually, when this case goes through the full hall and the court says he is cleared, then our money is lost. Nobody gets the money. I think that is the prudent thing to do. Is to recover the funds. And government has decided, the AG has decided that, listen, if we can recover 60% of the funds and talk about the other 40, how the spread out will be, how you'll be able to pay those monies, we'll let it go.
You're not worried about the perception it creates.
What perception?
That's no prosecutions are now coterminous with political administrations. When there's a change in government, cases are dropped.
No, but the MPP managed to put some people in jail. If they had evidence, they would have done that. Like, Atuesian is in jail. I've forgotten. We just told that Atuesian is in jail. So it means that you have some concrete evidence in that regard. And the law courts agree with you that there's some concrete evidence. These ones have been spanning for years. For years on end. The UT Bank's own has been spanning for years on end. Unibank, years on end. And a few others. Years on end. For how long are you going to go through this? If indeed you have any evidence.
The wheels of justice grind slowly.
The wheels of justice grind slowly. But did they say that it's grinding slowly, so it means that I can be in court forever? Justice delayed is justice virtually denied. So, I'm held for an issue you claim I have committed, and you're not able to adduce this evidence in court. And I'm in court for 10 years, and that is the wheels of justice grinding slowly. Now, what is the definition of grinding slowly? If a case lasts in court for 1 month, it's still slow. If it lasts for 2 days, it's still slow according to somebody's standard. We don't have any measurement to say that if it is 2 months, then it means that it's fast. If it's 1 month, then it means that it's slow or whatever of the sort. For me, the most important thing that this government is managing their fiscal prudence very well. And for the fact that they are able to recover these funds, for the fact that they are able to make progress. And he stated clearly that the recovery of these funds is no indicator that the person is acquitted or exonerated or discharged and all that. But I'm dropping the cases because I don't find the real evidence in court that will be able to implicate the person. I don't think that is something we should worry ourselves about.
Let's say good morning to Dr. Ezekiel Ejekum Obeng. Doc, good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning to everyone.
Right, let me go to Engineer before I come to you. Engineer, from where you sit, what do you see? Are prosecutions tied to political administration?
Before I address that specific question, let's go back a little. I think that the banking crisis, based on the narratives and the evidence we have seen so far, was very badly handled. And it gave the impression that it was political prosecution, which again is playing out in this very scenario. So I think that we need our citizens again to look at the whole process of governance and building institutions. In the collapse of these banks, I have not seen any Bank of Ghana official being prosecuted or held accountable for anything. Why? Because it is the responsibility of the Bank of Ghana to supervise all banks in this country.
The oversight responsibility.
The oversight responsibility rests with them. So in all of this financial sector collapse, no one has been held responsible. And I find that very worrying in terms of building institutions and building systems. Because when we have given letters to people and given them employment and giving them specific responsibilities, responsible for supervising banks, checking this, checking that, and they fail in that responsibility, we should not let them go scot-free. And this is why I keep saying that professionals in this country need to be held accountable. We are not holding them accountable. And that, for me, is worrying. The idea where we turn around quickly and blame politicians all the time is not being helpful. We, as a country, must learn to hold professionals accountable. So in that collapse issue, I think that we need to go beyond simply the banks that have collapsed and look at the acts of
the regulator itself.
The regulator itself and hold people responsible. We have not done that. So that, for me, is worrying. Now, when we come to the current issue where we are letting the Attorney General has declared null prosecution, it doesn't look nice at all. It doesn't.
You think so?
It doesn't. The optics are not good.
But he's looked at the evidence before him, and he thinks it's not...
Wait, the optics are not good. One, Dr. Duffuor is a known member of the NDC.
Yes.
I hear the Attorney General himself was acting for Dr. Duffuor on this particular matter.
As a legal rep?
Exactly. So clearly the optics are not good. It doesn't. So we should be worried as a country because, you see, even if the Attorney General was going to do this, I think that, in all honesty, they should have come out to say that, look, these are the conflict of interest issues and this is how we are going to deal with it very openly so that everybody sees the process. But as it is now, it has always been shrouded in secrecy. Although the letter was signed by the Deputy Attorney, it doesn't make... The office is the Attorney General's office.
It says that decision was guided by a recovery benchmark. Once 60% of the alleged financial loss is recouped, prosecution can be re-looked at.
You see, again, what I'm saying is that the optics don't look good because what you're also telling everybody here in this country is that if you steal or you conduct yourself badly, and you come back to the Attorney General and say, I can pay 60%, you are going to be let off the hook. Because that is what...
Aren't we oversimplifying it?
No, we are not. You see, everything we do sets a precedence. Where someone else takes it up and say, but it was done for... Other than that, why are we being selective then? Because we are setting a clear precedence and saying that, 60%, because he says we've set a benchmark. That is why that tone says. He says we've set a benchmark where we say, once we are able to recover 60% and we are not too sure, that's an excuse, we can let the case go. So for me, this is very serious. The conflict of interest issues were not handled properly. And clearly, again, we are also saying that if you are a big man and you do things, we can let you go. Look, Dr. Duffuor is no small person in this country. He was governor of the Bank of Ghana. So for his bank to have been found in this whole crisis was itself disgraceful. Very bad. For someone who was the governor of the Bank of Ghana, and you set up a bank yourself and you're running and you fail. I mean, this is not acceptable. And I think that we should demonstrate to the ordinary Ghanaian that no matter who you are, when you come before the law, we will deal with you. But in this case, it doesn't show that. So there's crime and there's punishment. There are civil cases and there are criminal cases. Yes, that is true. But if we don't clearly set deterrence, then we are not being fair to the people, ordinary people of Ghana. It means that if you're high up there, if you're a politician or anything and we get to you, we can let you go quietly. But if you're an ordinary person and you flout the law, we will deal with you harshly. For me, this case doesn't look good any way you spin it. And I think we should be worried as a people that this kind of things go unpunished.
Right, very well. Thank you. Doc, your thoughts. Do you think we are setting a bad precedent? Or if there's nothing to pursue, why waste state resources when indeed we have recovered the 60% the Attorney General says we have?
Two issues are key when we consider whatever is playing out. First of all, there is an admission that there was a reason for the banks to be merged. If you play back political commentaries, the idea that was sold to the Ghanaian was that the MPP, for that matter, then finance minister, who had a bank, didn't want competition. So
idea was sold by who?
The opponent, of course, the NDC. The then finance minister didn't want competition. He owned, in quotes, Data Bank.
We're talking about Ken Oforiatta.
Yes, and he wanted to, set a different parameter when it comes to competition in the banking sector.
Right.
So there was no justification whatsoever for the banks to be collapsed. So unfortunately, those who had some job losses were vehemently triggered and incited against the government of the day. And then opposition made a huge meal out of it. But clearly, from what has been communicated to the state yesterday, the fact that government believes someone has refunded to the tune of about 60% of certain monies shows that there was some wrongdoing.
Right.
So it goes back to refute the initial claims by the NDC or the opponent that indeed there was a reason for the banks to be merged. So the fundamental reason why the banks were merged, even when we kept trumpeting them, and we went back as far back as 2015 to read the BOG report, which found expression in then President Mahama State of the Nation address, talking about how weak the banking sector was and the fact that some monies were even advanced to recapitalize the bank, yet we still had the same issue precipitating, shows that there was a reason for the merger of the banks. So anyone listening to us today, the MPP then, for that matter, the MPP government then, and the finance minister or the president was not about chasing people and collapsing people's banks. It has really come to light that indeed there was a reason for some of the banks to be merged. The second issue has to do with the NDC's own words coming back to haunt them. Because yes, whenever there was an issue involving any government official, and there seemed to be certain posturing, they quickly interpreted such posturing to be a clearing agency by the administration. Even when investigations were properly conducted and findings were made public for whichever case, for whichever venture that came to light. Today, what do we see? Ever since the NDC took over, one of the first appointments they made was an Attorney General who was vetted and properly passed. And what did we see post his vetting? How many people can we count? That's the government has granted, in quote, amnesty or has discontinued a certain case against them properly under the law.
I don't think they are the same things. Amnesty and discontinuation of
cases. Of cases and clearing them. Because government came, issued a communique telling the whole country that, you know what, there was a case against ABC, we are no more interested. The state is not going to continue.
Did the state give reasons?
Whatever reason there is. In your
so you're not looking at the
case,
merits of the reasons.
We are looking at the
fact
optics.
That they've discontinued.
Engineer has spoken very nicely on the optics. That even when state institutions were made to investigate issues that happened under the MPP, then administration and then president was tagged as a clearing agent. Even when state institutions properly investigated those issues. Today, are we not seeing multiplicity of clearing agency within this administration? It's their own words. And it's what the ordinary Ghanaian who is watching everything unfolding is going to make of them. It clearly shows that whatever that happened between the NPP's administration was not something the NDC abhorred. They were just not happy that it wasn't the NDC doing it. So when they had opportunity, they now want to tell us even how to do it properly. So they are clearing left, right,
when
center.
push comes to shove, which would you prefer? Recovery of lost funds or jailing of individuals?
We are speaking about principles and what people did in opposition. For that matter, we're hoping the narrative would change, at least for the better, per what they sold to us. That even when investigations were ongoing and people were cleared by appropriate state institutions, we were told that the president then was a clearing agent. It's not a matter of whether recovery needs to be made or prosecutions need to go on for people to be jailed. Of course, who benefits if someone is jailed?
Right.
But it's the principle that was applied then.
So same as the applied
That discontinuing cases or the president accepting someone's resignation letter and wishing the person well, if that amounted to clearing agency and that amounted to babysitting, what can we say about the happenings of today? It's that principle I'm talking about. We can go into whether one needs to be jailed for a certain offense or recoveries need to be made for which the monies can be put to other use. That's a different argument altogether. It's about the posturing of the NDC when they were in opposition.
Right.
And the things they said about issues that were properly investigated, not issues that were even swept under the carpet. And today, you get opportunity, and one of the earliest fond memories of this administration is the love letter written by the Attorney General to discontinue cases, and that is what found expression in yesterday's communique. It's nothing different. It's nothing short of a proper, well-instituted state agency doing clearancy in this country. It's their own words haunting them. Well, and I could appreciate my brother's difficulty in the explanation. At one point, prosecution takes a long time, and and another breath, who determines what a long time is? Is it 1 month or 2 months? And I could appreciate my brother's difficulty. And it's all because of what they said in opposition. And in government, they are doing even worse. It's for the ordinary Ghanaian to compare that if I came to preach ABC when I was in opposition, and I get opportunity to come to government and I'm even doing worse, what does it tell the ordinary Ghanaian? Were we just being lied to, in quotes, or were sentiments being whipped against the government of the day because of political fortunes? Today you have the power. And it goes beyond this clearing agency situation. You can see a similar thing playing out in our Galamsey menace, where government officials of today believed.
Let's not digress.
We are digressing. We are giving just examples. So it's their own words coming back to haunt them.
I see you want to come in. I'll give you an opportunity. Let's have
engineer said, it's about the optics. If you believe you are doing the right thing, the Ghanaian is there to judge you.
Very well.
I mean, I won't sit here to belabor the point. But if they ever blame the MPP for issues that were properly investigated by appropriate state agencies, and no wrong was found against such persons in question, yet they still tag the government of the day and the president has been a clearing agent. Today, we have a supra-clearing agency happening within this administration. And that is what they are giving to Ghanaians compared to what they told Ghanaians, and they are worse in opposition.
Well, I see you have a response to it.
Sometimes you are struggling to find out whether the MPP lack values, because it doesn't. It gets worrying. Listen, Unibank was formed in 2001. By 2017 December, end of year, they were awarded the fastest growing bank, largest single indigenous bank in Ghana by their own government, the same BOG. By March 2018, BOG comes to tell us that they are putting the same bank that they had given an award to in December of 2017. March of 2018,
after 3 months,
they showed up and said that the bank is having liquidity challenges. Put the bank under receivership, and they did it in March of 2018. By August, they said they have taken over the bank, and that's how they brought about that bogus entity called a bank, which took over from Unibank and that of what's the name? As we speak today.
That's CBG now.
As we speak today, CBG itself is in crisis. And I'm sure you are aware of that. So you use our state funds to put together two major banks. Is Unibank not, UT Bank not part of that caucus? Is Unibank not part of that caucus? You put together a bank, a new bank, so-called, and they claim they spent 5.7 billion in setting up CBG. Of all the assets that Unibank had, of all that UT had put together, government of Ghana claimed that they had pushed in more 5.7 billion cedis to set up CBG. Today CBG is in crisis. And you don't have values. You come and tell us, in any case, the comparison they are doing is a bit bogus. Why is it bogus? Duffuor has not spent government money. It's not as though he was involved in a crime of a sort. Government gave support to the banks as he did for any other bank, including their own enterprise at the time. What's the name of that? Data Bank. When Data Bank was in crisis, the government of Ghana gave them funding to be on their feet. And today, thanks be to God, they are on their feet. So other banks received the same support, including Unibank and UT Bank. That of Unibank, and I can give you the Unibank history if you really even want to know the Unibank history. Now, they claim that Unibank was in liquidity challenges of 2.2 billion. Now, how much did the government of Ghana give to the banks? 620 million. That's what was given to the banks. And then they claim that the liquidity challenge that Unibank has is 2.2. Unibank now writes to you to tell you that you are owing me through your contractors over 3.8 billion. If you pay me that money, I will be immediately liquid. Yeah. And these are contracts that were signed by the government of Ghana, so-called cleared by GIFMIX. And so you know how much entitlement you owe these banks, these contractors, who in essence also owe Unibank. What is the honest thing to do? You left that debt unpaid, took over the bank, took again 5.7 billion of government money. That's what you pushed into the system. Show me one office that CBG had, apart from taking over the facilities of UT Bank and Unibank. Show me one office that CBG had, or bought, or facility that they have invested the 5.7 billion into. Throughout the period that we were there, did you hear anybody go to any of these banks to say that, oh, I want to take my funds, and the bank said they don't have it? Till today, all the customers of Unibank and UT Bank is still what they are relying on. No new customers. For instance, in, let's say, a bank like CBG, they have been on Gimba campus forever. And when they took over in the same building of Unibank till today.
The existing assets.
Existing portfolio is what they are using. No expansion, no further, growth of the bank. And you sit on set and tell us that they should be prosecuted. Prosecuted for what? Because they put a gun on government throat or government head in order to take some of those funding. Right. This is a corporate matter. Right. And so I think that they should even be ashamed talking about this. The number of people who lost their jobs within that period, the people who have become truck pushers, those who have been selling plantain after being a banker for many years, and you sit on TV and you don't have respect for these families who have lost livelihoods, who have gone home, who have become worse off today, and you claim that if we prosecute Duffuor, then suddenly these families will get some respite. Is that what it means?
He spoke on the matter of principle.
What principle?
What was done in opposition?
No, which principle
must be applied?
No, which principle?
That the
attributions
of all the other cases that came before.
Since the past stole state funds. I mean, as alleged. As alleged. I mean, she was a minister of state.
I'm not sure any such charges have been preferred against her.
As alleged.
Money was found in her room.
Hold on. I'm saying as alleged. Of course, we are all talking about stories we heard out there that she stole state funds. That's what they said.
I know of, I heard of monies being found in her room.
I'm saying the report was that
it being stolen. The
report was that those funds couldn't have come from her own, dealings. In other words, if you have funds that couldn't have come from yourself, what are they?
She failed to prove the source of the funds.
Whatever it is, we heard stories about, she has stolen state funds. It is state funds that is in her house. She couldn't have had that kind of money. The person she was referring to was a dead person. And how could you be clipping the funds of a dead person? And we heard all kinds of stories. And then you decided to enter nullity prosecution. Well, that's your business.
No, the president wrote a letter to her upon accepting her resignation. And
I'm not talking about nullity prosecution in her case. I'm talking about you have decided to enter nullity prosecution in several cases that were directly cases of the state. This is a corporate entity. Today we are lifting the veil from Unibank to know the directors of Unibank because we claim that some transactions were done badly. One of the reports that were written from the receiver was that Unibank's board of governorship did some transactions that were not in line with the banking sector, whatever act. True, false, whatever it is. But that's a board decision. That's a board decision. You know, say Duffuor took money from the bank's coffers and did anything untoward. Now the man has also lined up several assets. For instance, the Accra World Trade Center, the trade center that belongs to Duffuor. WCC. It belongs to Unibank. Government of Ghana took over some of those facilities without even telling the cost of them. Could they have been sold to recover the cost? I mean, they actually mentioned some facilities that Duffuor owns and claimed that was not what the bank's money should have been used for. So it is not as if Duffuor stole money from anybody and put in his pocket. Some assets were acquired. What was the outcome of those assets? How much could we have realized if we sold those assets? So I think I'm struggling to understand the logic, Let
me just make a quick comment. I think that one, it's become a trend where the quickest way to rubbish any issue in public domain is to politicize it
and then do the comparisons.
Which we need to move away from. These are purely financial and technical issues.
Yeah,
we need to be able to take those things away and deal with them very clearly. And then that it is the people of Ghana who continue to lose. I mean, if you take money from the DOG and give it to a private bank, is that not the people's money?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, let's be serious. You can't take money from the Bank of Ghana and think that it is private money. No, it is not. So let's be honest in dealing with these issues. Now, let us also be clear that you can prosecute someone both in civil matter and in criminal matter. So let us not make it look like it is either civil or criminal. It is not. You can prosecute the same person on a criminal charge and then go into recovery through a civil case. So in this case, what are we doing? That is why I say that the fact that we are refusing to prosecute people on a criminal basis is wrong because we are not setting deterrents. And then when we set a low benchmark of 60% and say that once you are able to bring it, we'll let you go, it doesn't wash well. It doesn't sit well with ordinary Ghanaians. Because other than that, the goat thief and everybody should go and negotiate side deals. We should give them opportunities to negotiate side deals.
Right.
Thank you.
Doc.
It's very obvious my brother is setting his own questions and he's proffering his own questions. It's very obvious.
You think so?
I never mentioned Mr. Duffuor, Dr. Duffuor in any of my submissions.
Right.
I never mentioned
True.
And I never mentioned prosecution, other people should be jailed. You even asked whether people should be prosecuted or funds should be recovered. And I said that debate is a different topic.
The optics is not good, is what? Or is in reference to what? No, the optics are not good. It's in reference
to the discontinuation of the case.
In which case?
Let's Dockland.
I don't know whether, I mean, there is a promise somewhere, I mean, try and chip Mr. Duffuor in people's submission. I don't know who my brother is trying to please. But I have not mentioned Mr. Duffuor in my submission. In fact, I didn't mention any individual.
Very well.
The only person I made reference to was the Attorney General. Even with him, I didn't mention his name.
Right.
So he's setting his own questions, bringing Mr. Duffuor in, trying to sit on the platform to be the hardest and the most ardent advocate of Mr. Duffuor. I don't know what he's been promised, if there's any promise at all after the show. I've not mentioned Mr. Duffuor. So stop setting your own questions and stop offering answers to your own questions. I'm saying that it is a matter of two principles. That you claim there was no justification for the banks to be merged. And you've even gone ahead to even cite Unibank to further buttress the point you made in opposition, that there was no justification. So he singled out Unibank and told me that even in 2017, Unibank received some laurels, right?
Yeah,
and you went ahead to say that just June, July thereafter, by December of the following year, they say Unibank was, in quote, collapsed. So you are trying to still justify the things I'm saying. That in opposition, you said there was no reason for the banks to be collapsed. If there was no reason for the banks to be collapsed, for that matter, there was no wrongdoing. Why are people advancing certain 60% of monies to the state? And then you go ahead to try and talk about people who lost their jobs. Are we not sad for those people? And it won't wash. If there was anything at all, you promised the people of Ghana and the owners of the banks during your campaign that you were going to reinstate their certificate.
Yes, we'll do that.
That is what you need to do for the people.
When we find nothing wrong,
that you are going to give the banks back to their owners. I don't know how you are going to give any bank to any owner. It doesn't have any expression anywhere in the BOD regulation. But you claim you are going to give the bank back to the owners because there was no justification for the merger. That is what you need to do. If you believe some people were left or some people's jobs were lost, it's not a matter of coming to repeat the rhetorics. You are in government today. Call them and provide them the banks. Call them and provide them their jobs. That is what you promise the people. That is what you need to do. Once again, I depersonalized the issues and I spoke to the principles upon which you campaigned. And you told the people that MPP was insensitive. The reason why the banks were merged. Secondly, then administration was a clearing agent or clearing agency. Today, we are seeing supra clearing agency. Those are the principles I spoke about. It had nothing to do with any personality. Don't bring Dr. Duffuor in to try and make a case as though someone is trying to or wishing for his prosecution. And I even said no one benefits if anyone is jailed. So don't set your own questions and answer them. Principles.
I am a bit worried with the wording of the statement that the discontinuation of the case does not necessarily exonerate anyone of wrongdoing. So in there, I see an admission that's indeed something wrong or something untoward had happened.
No. Nolli prosequa in law is not. And that's the principle. The principle is that when I enter knowledge prosequa, I'm not saying that
you are no longer interested in
the case. It doesn't mean that you have been acquitted. It doesn't mean you have been discharged.
Exactly.
That's the principle of knowledge prosequa. It's not a new principle being adduced. Once I enter into knowledge prosequa, it means I'm not interested in the case again. I'm out.
Very well.
I can go back to court again to say that hey, I'm coming back. So there's nothing wrong. That's the principle that has been espoused by the Attorney General.
Very well.
If the case had progressed and the court decided to acquit somebody, that's different.
Could we have taken that path?
That's also another option left to the Attorney General to pursue. But he just mentioned that the Attorney General, he was told, I'm not aware yet, that he was told that the Attorney General was a counsel to Duffuor and others and all that. And that's why the letter was signed by the Deputy AG and all that. Some of those allegations...
He didn't necessarily say that's why. He only mentioned that although the letter was signed by the Deputy AG, the optics don't look good.
Why was it signed by the Deputy AG?
We don't know why.
So what was what?
Is the AG in the jurisdiction?
What does it need to be in the jurisdiction? The letter, did you see it by hand or it was? It doesn't need to be here.
Let's take a few messages. Let's take a few messages and then we can move on. This one says, good morning to you and your panelists. In as much as there's no sense in going to court on issues that cannot see resolution, I believe the AG erred in this matter, especially if he was a legal rep for Mr. Duffuor. He should have let the court do its job. Okay, this one says, this one is you wonder. He says, if justice delayed is justice denied, then they should deal with Chamaun Tumi case and other oral allegations. Super clearing agent has assumed office and all NDC members are being cleared. Ghanaians are watching. Master Planner Junior from Kintampo sent that one in. This one says, good morning, Nana. Kindly tell Dr. Ezekiel that any young Ghanaian watching him talk this morning will learn a lot. He should keep it up, always making his points clear without using abusive words. Jacob from Bolga sent that one in. I have a bit of an issue with, the way the Attorney General is entering these Nolli prosecutions because the party is currently running something called Operation Recover All Loot, and you have cases sitting in court.
Yes,
but however,
let's now it's Operation Recover 60% loot.
You see, anybody can go to court,
right?
But as to whether the case you are taking to court is worthy. It's a different thing altogether.
So let the courts decide.
No, hold on. It's a different. No. Do you know how much it costs the state to keep a case in court for that long? In fact, you even take care of one prisoner. You know how much it costs the state? As against, for instance, and that's why we've been talking about the fact that we need to review our laws. Somebody stole a goat. I take him to court. He gets 15 years in jail. And I'm feeding you morning, afternoon, evening. For the time that you are in court. I have to clothe you. When you are sick, I have to take care of you. How much is a goat? How much is a goat?
So it costs more.
So that's why people are saying that sometimes the punitive measure is more than what the cost is.
So we should be looking at non-custodial sentences.
Exactly. Now, he mentioned the point that Duffuor, the money that was given to Duffuor was state funds.
I've not mentioned the Duffuor.
He mentioned it.
Yeah,
Be patient. I was somewhat scared of Duffuor because under Duffuor's tenure as finance minister, they couldn't match it for the 8 years. So let's go. So he said that the money, the funds given to Duffuor was state funds, which we agree is state funds. But the question is, did he put a gun on anybody's throat to take state funds? No. It is a measure. It was also a policy by government to resource these banks. And these monies were given to the banks to do well. And you will recall, and I'm saying that it's on record, 2017, they were one of the fastest growing banks in this country, which means they were doing well. Then you decided as a government to increase the primary reserve to 400 million instead of the 120 that they were dealing with. Now, and you give them time to meet up with the 400 million. Some couldn't meet, some met it. Unibank couldn't meet it at the time. In fact, if you remember, if you recall, when GN Bank and Indum spoke, he said he had actually brought in investors. They had actually issued money. Bank of Ghana refused to make approval for those funds to come in. And then later, the bank was collapsed. So it is not as though somebody
let's move on.
Still state funds. That's what I'm saying.
Let's move on.
There's a quick point. You see, the way we want to make it that, if somebody goes to jail, we have to feed him, we have to do this. We have not been able to calculate how much we have saved society by putting someone in jail either. You see, because there's a deterrent part of going to jail. So if someone commits a crime and you put him in jail, it is telling maybe 100 or 200 people that don't do the same thing. So when we simply come out and say, when we lock someone up, we have to feed him, we have to clothe him, we have to do that, it is a very simplistic argument. But when you lock people up, it just sends a message to million people that, hey, you don't commit this crime, either the state will lock you up or the state will put you before firing squad. These are the things that we don't measure. And then we make this simplistic argument and say that there's no point putting people in jail.
But let's make progress. Let's make progress.
Let me say, the law is going through a lot of reformation. Now, the position of the law lately, or a lot of advocates, is that when we put people in jail, they come sometimes worse off than they were when they went to jail. And many people
so
will
we need to reform our
prison system.
We need to reform our
not about jailing people. Very
well. Engineer, I'll start off this one with you, and then I need you to give me some technical advice regarding the issue of Ramsar sites and the level of encroachment we are seeing. The Greater Accra Regional Security Council has resumed the demolition of structures on these Ramsar sites. Yesterday we saw them around the Sakumo and in areas like that.
So I think, again, as a nation, it is important that we plan for development. And places that we have identified as no-go zones, we make sure that all state agencies responsible for preserving those places do what they need to do. Look, growing up in the 80s, you know where we have President Kufuor's house, and then up front there, where we have is it what Kasako Villagio. That place is all swamp. It's part of the Ramsar site. Yes, those are all places that are supposed to be preserved. But in this country, we have consistently over the years turned a blind eye to proper development and zoning laws. And for me, this is where we need to sit back and say, hey, let's stop it. This reactionary attitude where we go back and demolish people's houses, I have no problem with that. But again, if people, city authorities, have allowed it to even start, are we holding the city authorities accountable? You see, when we let a lot of things, there's no deterrence. The public officials who are responsible for preserving those things and responsible for planning, for zoning, and ensuring that those zoning laws are maintained, are not being held accountable.
Right.
So we turn around, after these people have sat down quietly and allowed these properties to be developed, we go back, demolish them, and then we think that we have we are done. But the same city authorities will go around and allow people to continue developing elsewhere. So for me, this vicious cycle is where we need to seriously be minded about. Let me cite it again. This whole issue of developing even the cathedral. Where does the cathedral form within zoning and planning laws within Accra? Then we have another government comes by and say, we are going to turn it into a cultural center. Again, The government itself is leading.
The government has put some clarity to that. They say that it was a suggestion to the 24-hour secretary.
Okay.
So it's not official government position. Well, it was a suggestion that has been captured in the booklet. A suggestion captured in the booklet.
You see, so in terms of, look, if as an engineer, and I tell my colleagues all the time, it's a disgrace to all of us that even the main ceremonial street in Ghana, not just Accra, the whole Liberation Road, the slightest rain and it is flooded. It is terrible. It is telling all of us as engineering practitioners in this country, and we should be worried. City planners, surveyors, everybody should be worried as professionals. We should be worried about what is going on in this country. Look, the president came into office about 6 months ago. What have we done? Between the Mahama roundabout and there, we have created another roundabout. Where was that in city planning? You understand? We have created another roundabout. Where was that in the planning of the city in terms of roads? You see, so consistently, even government itself's behavior does not allow for proper planning and regulation of space in this country. And that for me is the most worrying part. So our government should allow the city authorities to work properly. Look, Accra Metropolitan Assembly, all the others, they walk around. Structures are coming up every day, and they are not complying with the laid down regulations. And yet nobody does anything. When there's a change in government suddenly, or somebody comes out and says, look, we need to demolish this. People have put in money. What has happened to all their money? I'm not crying for them for breaking law, but I'm just saying that what are we doing to ourselves as a nation? Those people could have used that money somewhere else, which could have yielded better results. But we have just simply come one day, collapsed all those structures. What is happening for me to the city authorities who sat down and allow those things to happen? When the land filling was going on, they saw it. Look, travel from here to Takrady. All the spaces that are swamp are being filled up. And that should worry all of us. So what is happening is, the flooding that is happening is no longer intense rain. The least amount of rain and places get flooded. Simply because we are filling every space that we can think about. And city authorities are not working properly. So for me, that's the worrying thing. Our professionals and city authorities must be held accountable. We shouldn't just go and pull down houses and walk away. We should hold the city authorities accountable. There was a mayor or there was a district chief executive in charge. There were people who were there who saw all those structures. We should hold them accountable.
So, those affected are asking for a human face approach.
I share in the submission of engineer that clearly it's a whole cocktail of issues. I mean, where were state agencies or institutions when those structures began? And we sat, in quote, aloof and watched the structures put up to this level. And watching it, I can also feel the pain of those whose monies are going to waste. So in the end, we've achieved nothing. If there is anything at all, we've rather achieved a financial distress to those who own those properties. Clearly, if it's a demarcated site where residency should not spring up, then people failed at their duties. And we need to be up and doing. These issues keep coming back. And the only time we seem to have a loud voice is when the rainy season sets in and we see the floods with the least rain. Then we come back, talk about the same issues, go back to sleep, and then we come back the following year during the rainy season. So it becomes a cycle, an unending cycle. And I believe it's about time we sat down properly to do things right. And it's quite demoralizing. If I had monies to put up these beautiful structures, only for my structures to be collapsed one day. Mind you, we are in difficult times. We've seen electricity prices skyrocketing to almost about 18% in the last 6 months. Water, now we are going to pay for our children's BEC, we are going to pay school fees, we are going to buy all these things. Even writing BEC now, parents are to cough about 550 cedis. Looking at the problems of the Ghanaian today, the taxes the Ghanaian has to suffer. And just last week, D-levy started. So yes, we are already financially burdened with tax increments, with draconian D-levy, among others. And people save
I knew that would take
their widows' might to at least acquire, quote and unquote, certain parcel of land, put up structures, That is when state agencies realize that, where you started your building or where you have your property is a demarcated area. For non-residency. Then we go back to demolish and squash people's monies. It's very heartbreaking, and I can only empathize with those whose properties are going down. But of course, the state agency has now realized what it needed to do before. So who should be held responsible? If there is any legal provision at all, who is supposed to compensate for what? And who should do the compensation? Are people right to ask for compensations? Because yes, I probably people didn't know. Even though we say ignorance of the law is no excuse. Are people right to ask for compensations? So we need to be up and doing. We need to be on the grounds. We shouldn't take positions and sit in offices. We should take positions and be on the grounds to inspect, have oversight responsibility, have first-hand information. The reported speeches and reported reports that we tend to have and run with them has cost us a lot. Let people who are entrusted with certain responsibilities go on the ground, inspect things for themselves. I believe if the AMA or whichever agency this falls under had taken Tema Metropolitan Assembly, had taken initial steps and were on the grounds, even before those structures started, they would have put some embargo or ban on those structures, even before we get here.
Unless,
and
of course,
we're not just going to save the place, we're not just going to curb future flooding, we're going to help people save their hard-earned monies. It's quite disappointing what we need to go through and the cycle we keep repeating year in, year out.
Very well. Thank you, Doc. Wanda, I'll come to you, but let me take a quick break here. When I come back, you share your thoughts with us. This is Breakfast Daily. We're having the news review segment. We also like to hear from you. Send us your thoughts, your comments, and contributions. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we continue.
Life can get hectic, and sometimes we forget to prioritize our well-being. That's where Vernal Mineral Water steps in. A refreshing solution packed with essential minerals, Vernal Mineral Water keeps you hydrated and balanced. Whether you're at home or work, Vernal Mineral Water is there to keep you going. Don't let a busy schedule hinder your health. Make Vernal Mineral Water a part of your daily routine. Share the love with Vernal Mineral Water, the choice for a healthy, vibrant you.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every journey begins with a single step. Not always easy, not always certain, but always yours. In every heartbeat, there's a story of struggle, of courage, of purpose. And on this road, every story finds its voice.
I run because I believe I'm born to win.
I run because it keeps me fit and gorgeous.
It's not just about the finish line. It's about what drives you to start and energizes you to keep going against all odds. The battles no one sees and the pain no one feels. The triumphs only you understand. And when the road gets hard, always remember, if it is to be, it is up to me. It's your moment, your legacy, and your glory. Register now for the ABSA Black Star Marathon, because your story matters.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
It's on SuperSport all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial *759#. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
Thank you for staying with us. You're welcome back to Breakfast Daily. We're having the news review segment. We're currently discussing Ramsar site and encroachment of same, and then, of course, the resumption of the demolition exercise by the Accra RegSec. Wanda, your take on this?
Yeah, so we're all saddened by some of these demolitions. Let me take you back. Ghana has 6 designated sites, labeled or mapped out as Ramsar sites. Under the 71 convention, 1971 convention. One is the Sakumono one. The other one is a Densu one, which is where the Wager area there. The Songo Salt area, the Adan area. The Kita one, we have the Keta Lagoon area also as the designated one. Then we have the Muni, the Pomaje one, which is also in the central region, Winneba. The last one is the Owabi Ramsar site, located in Ashanti region. Yeah. If you go to almost all of these that I've mentioned, except for the ones that development hasn't closed in on them, they are virtually gone.
Yeah.
That one is so broad, we're only seeing some salt, salt mining activities going there. But as long as you see some of these things going into those areas, you can be sure that very soon they are also going to be overtaken by activities. I am particularly worried for the Sakumono one because I've lived very close. I used to live in Community 3.
Oh, okay.
At the beach, the very first estate at the beach there. And so I...
That's a site A.
Yes,
at the estate.
Yeah, and the Kwame estate.
The flats?
Kwame estate.
Were you in the flats or the estate?
Yeah, in the flats.
Okay, that's site A.
The estate. This is an estate.
Where the cocoa board people are now.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Directly behind my opposite cocoa board.
Right.
And I've seen many years ago when we were there, we've seen how broad that place was, how beautiful it was. They also had one biogas or whatever, very close to the sea, which has a channel or a drain
some outlets that goes into
the sea. And you used to see people in the morning come to do hook line fishing in that environment. So I'm very familiar with that. But the rate at which properties developed in that place was very worrying. But will you be surprised? No. Why? Because our district assemblies, our municipal assemblies, their planning department either is under-resourced or the wrong people are there, or they just cannot enforce what development planning is. And then people are also motivated by cash. That Ramsar site, the demolition started in 2020.
By
2021, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, the chiefs and people of the area went to court. And what was the ruling? The court directed the assembly to re-engage the residents. Not to demolish, re-engage the residents. And I think that the solution to our development issues is a broader, more stakeholder management than just one man leading the show. No doubt Obama said that we should be building institutions and not men and not individuals and all that. So I think that what is happening in the Ramsar side there is an eyesore. I'm talking about the development that have come up, the structures that have come up. He talked about the Villaggio one. I am a member of Action Chapel. Many years ago, when we used to be under the shed, there was a very huge gutter that passes through the church, but eventually there was a building, that came up there. Almost all that place. The Accra Mall also has a very big drain passing through the Accra Mall, through Action Chapel, all the way, to the Ramsar site we are talking about. You see, but today, those gutters, those drains are all not, they don't have the capacity to take what we call storm drains. It was when that place was developing, people were beginning to build around Jowolo. Jowolo is a flat area. People were beginning to build around Jowolo all the way to Airport Residential, where President Kufuor's house is. What's the name of this junction? Spanner Junction in those areas. That the first major flood in that area happened. Many years ago, when that flood happened, Abedipele's cars in his house those days was floating on the water all the way to where we have Seacaps Hotel and Bayview Hotel. There were two hotels opposite each other around that place. Seacaps was on this side and Bayview was on this side. All those places were shattered in one major rainstorm. government decided to do some demolition again. But now go and see that place. It's still, people have bought it, built on it, and things are going on there. So I think that we should be proactive. Government, I have said, and I mean on several platforms, that we should stop doing the national development planning thing because it doesn't get to the ground. Can we go region by region? Can we do maybe municipal assembly by municipal assembly? What's the development plan of say where I come from, Ketu South Municipal Assembly? What's the plan? Where do we go from? The next MC, or if it was a district, the next DC, when he takes over, where does he take the municipal assembly? When we are able to do this and it's homegrown and we have an agenda to say that, hey, this is where we are moving to, in this area, all lands in this area cannot be sold. And government must be able to do some of these things for the chiefs and the individuals. All lands in this area cannot be sold until we have done the demarcations and until we have done, we have serviced the lands. Then you can start selling. But in this case, everybody sells anywhere. Over the weekend, we just went to look at the land, and the land had no access, in terms of road to the place. Houses all over, and I was asking, how would you get your house if you bought this land? And they said, oh, they will create it. I'm very skeptical. I am watching to see how that will be created because people have bought all over. So these are the problems we have, even in the areas that we call developed. When there's small flooding, it's a mess. The places that we call in this country developed areas. For instance, Jowulu. There are a lot of high-rising buildings coming up there. Wait until there's a major storm in this country. You see how
because we developed without planning.
Yes, Alajo. You see the Alajo gutter, the big gutter. That gutter came out of major floodings that have devastated homes in this country. The June the 3rd. One that June 3rd disaster. It's so close away. It's just how many years away. So indeed, we still have the challenges happening. The Don River is still choked. Nobody's talking about it. So the challenges are myriad, and we need to find a homegrown solution. And I have advocated that let's distill our development plans to the district assemblies, to the municipal assemblies, to the metropolis, so that you can have hands-on. If you sit at National Development Planning Authority and then you design a plan for Ketu South, and we are not in the know. We don't even, a lot of the time they don't even know the topography of the area. So you are only saying that do this, do that. Where? How does it start? A plan for say Ketu South may not work for say Ayenswano, because Ketu South has its own design and unique, whatever topography or whatever you want to call it. But it looks as though we want to use the same plan, across board everywhere. It cannot work that way, and we need to find a way going forward on these matters.
Very well, Doc. The Parliament has passed the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, popularly known as Mahama Cares. There's been concern. Some CSOs are calling for inclusivity to be able to sustain it. We've heard some minority MPs say that it's just a legacy project for Mahama. Concerns have been raised about some 20 million allocation from the National Health Insurance Fund to support the Mahama Cares, which people think that if we invest in the NHIS, then there's no need for a Mahama Cares. Well, what's your take on this?
So we are talking about healthcare financing as a pillar of our healthcare system, and it's one of the major pillars of any healthcare system, and it's one that countries have struggled to have a hold on. Even in Americas, we heard of the Obamacare, and recently what's happening with Medicaid and all that in America, and across board, healthcare financing is key. And to achieve properly good primary health system and a good universal healthcare coverage where everyone has the opportunity to have quality healthcare with the least of strains on his or her pocket, the healthcare financing is very key. Thank God, in our country, somewhere 2003, the government of the day under President Duffuor properly instituted the National Health Insurance Scheme. And it had all forms of conditions under it. About 95% of, the conditions we can easily find in our country are under National Health Insurance Scheme. It really baffles my mind, and I'm in a state of absolute pandemonium. What really is Mahama Cares. It's just a selection of certain conditions to say that let's create another vehicle to finance healthcare. But even if you go into the so-called conditions that have been selected, these are conditions that are already being catered for by the NHI. So if NHI is taking care of condition A, and we lift the same condition and put under another umbrella and clothe it and give it a different name, what have we achieved? And I thought there was going to be a different funding vehicle to fund the so-called Mahama Cares. But it clearly shows that it's the same NHI monies that are going to be lifted to support the same conditions that NHI already catered for. Duplication of functions. Simply because an administration wants to tell Ghanaians that we can also come up with ideas. Because yes, what the NDC has struggled with, and people keep telling them is that if we look at the social intervention programs we have in this country, I don't know how many NDC can boast of. So in order to have a certain legacy, so to speak, let's create a duplicated role in healthcare financing. I don't know, it's a total pandemonium, like I said. If indeed you believe you are creating something within the healthcare, there are so many issues confronting healthcare. And if you believe once again that healthcare financing, there are gaps in our healthcare financing, there is already a vehicle providing healthcare financing in this country, tried and tested over 20 years. What we need to do is to continuously review the policy. And if there are certain conditions, again, that are outside the brackets of NHI, you bring them into the brackets of NHI. But you select something like hypertension. You select something like kidney conditions. Already, aspects of kidney conditions are already catered for. And if you look at health, management in terms of illness, it's not just about giving medication.
But what happened to the free dialysis treatment?
At least it was implemented before we left. So maybe Wanda can give us updates. It was fully piloted and implemented before the MPP handed over power. So the free dialysis treatment. So Wanda can give us updates on the free dialysis. Right? In management, if you go and see the doctor, the management is not just about the medication that's given to you.
Right.
Management even includes consultation.
Yeah.
So it's still confusing. What is the trust fund going to take care of? Which aspects of the conditions is it going to take care of? Because if we take hypertension, which they say is going to be part of the Mahama Cares, it's already under NHI. But NHI covers consultation for hypertension. NHI covers investigations for hypertension. NHI covers management in terms of drug administration for hypertension. So there's already a vehicle providing all these services under one condition. And you say we are going to provide treatment for certain conditions. So is NHI going to take care of consultation and investigation? And when you need the medication, you go to Mahama Cares Trust Fund or what? It's totally confusing.
Right.
And it's just duplication of function. Let's start something for us to have certain legacy. But from where I sit and from what I know, it is not sustainable. I don't think even if the next administration, even if it is not MPP and happens to be NDC, whoever takes over, after reading and knowing and being briefed properly on what NHI does and what this one seeks to do, I don't think the person will even continue. It's not sustainable. There's no clear-cut funding. We are going to rely on people's benevolence because when it was launched, we heard people had donated their salaries and some corporate bodies have donated their salaries. In properly healthcare financing by a state, we are going to rely on people's susu to take off our health. Clearly.
Wonder, if we are drawing resources from NHIF, why didn't we just put the conditions placed under Mahama Cares under National Health Insurance?
Mind you, they are already covered by NHI.
First of all, let's correct the impression that it is called Mahama Cares.
No, it's the Ghana Medical Trust Fund.
Good. So let's make progress with that. It's the Ghana Medical Trust Fund.
Popularly known as
call it whatever you popularly request. It's Ghana Medical Trust Fund. It's not Mahama Cares.
Seeking to do what?
Right. It's not Mahama Cares.
Seeking to do what?
It's not. Otherwise, we could have called NHIS also.
Somebody's care. We didn't start by saying it's
so this propaganda of Mahama Care, the Mahama Care is nowhere in that document.
It's in your manifesto.
What we know as of today is the Ghana Medical Trust. You should be excited about this.
What does this have to do?
You are supposed to be a medical doctor. And
what does this
you should be advocating for this. And I'm surprised you are the one
who does it to do this. What does it to do?
Under the MPP. Get one was capped. To cap means that even if you are due 1 million, I'll give you 800,000. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's what they did under their tenure. They capped Get Fund, they capped NHIS. To the extent that there were people who were owing. The fund was owing people, and they couldn't pay it. We came to government and said, hey, listen, we're not going to do this. Stealing money from statutory bodies to fund our lifestyle, we won't do that. So one of the first things the president did in June was to remove the cap. In the budget was to remove the cap. So now NHI has their full funding, resource. Now Mahama Care, what are the diseases captured under Mahama Care?
You said we shouldn't call it.
So he understands it. Just so he understands it. Kidney failure is one. 2, cancers. You know kidney failure, how rampant it has been. He talks about dialysis. They tried to pilot some dialysis, whatever.
In December last year.
They are taking care of only about how many people? 48 people. 48. 48.
And I'm not going to correct you.
48.
And I'm not going to correct you.
That's
48.
No, you said you take care of 48 people.
We said 48.
Oh, that's what.
No, but that's free
dialysis. The figures that came up was over 1,300
in Kolebu.
It was over 1,300.
Hold on, you piloted it in Kolebu, right?
It was piloted everywhere.
It
was piloted everywhere for 6 months.
The free dialysis, that's
before
what
it was rolled out proper. And the estimation was over 1,300 people.
No, hold on. Under what law?
I'm just correcting your 48 that we were.
You see, you now see how this thing was just a political gimmick.
So
which month was it done? October, November, December elections.
Could you have continued?
Because there was no funding source. There was just
a
dream of somebody to win an election. And
is there funding for the Mahama?
We will use funds from whichever way to fund this whole thing. They asked them where was the source of funding.
What is the source of Mahama?
I'm going to that.
That has been their business all along.
Right.
Where they make no proper funding source for a particular project, roll it out, and they think that everything should be fine. And I can mention a lot of projects. Even I think that they cannot even have a reliable funding source.
Very well.
They rely on DOG.
So Ghana Medical Trust Fund. What's the funding source?
I'm coming. So the areas we covered are cancers, kidney failure, the cardiovascular disease, that's the heart diseases, strokes, which he tried to talk about, hypertension. Hypertension is not mentioning that. You know what I mean? This is propaganda he's doing.
The cardiovascular disease.
Right.
I understand. Cardiovascular disease. Hypertension is fine.
Hypertension is fine. I do understand hypertension is but nobody is trying to say that, because you have BP, so that is what I'm taking care of. No, that's not true. By the time you're even getting BP, there are other conditions attached to it. Please, I'm a science student. I'm not
Science is not medicine. Science is not necessarily medicine.
I'm a science student from
Science is not necessarily medicine.
Give me the honor.
Science is necessarily medicine.
Then the other critical communicable diseases. So you can't be a medical doctor without being a science student. Let's make work. Now, so I do understand what he's talking about. Now, you talk about sources of funding. One, in the budget, in the fund, the act that established 20% of NHIS fund is allocated to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund. 20%. 2, budgetary allocations. That's from BOG. So anytime government raises budget, an allocation is made for expenditure under the Ghana Medical Trust. Then the other 2, one has to do with donor support, which is one of the things that the president himself is doing. some appointees are also doing, and then benevolence.
Right.
Then finally, the fourth source is from international organizations like the WHO and all the others. So if we say that
Trump will cancel it.
WHO is not regulated by Trump.
Right.
That's what
but they are the largest contributor.
They may be, but that doesn't mean that that's the end of it.
Well, I have a small challenge. Why are we taking money from NHIF to do something the NHIF is already doing or could do?
You know, but would you say that the performance of the NHIS vis-a-vis all the diseases captured are so nicely done?
That's what I said is doing or could
and I'm
do.
saying that this is only dedicated. Are you saying that under NHIS cancers are apart?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's doing or could do.
Yes. Nana, cancers are apart.
It's
not all.
It's not
cancers,
not all. But there are certain cancers that are.
So which of the cancers is one to make of? Which of the cancers?
We have all seen the emergence of new diseases like cancers. I mean, the frequency or the rapidity with which they are coming up. Government is just taking a decision to take care of the critical cases. You have heard many times people go for kidney transplant. It's a lot of money.
Kidney transplant.
Just today, there are a lot of people who, somebody came to my inbox begging for funds. How much? And when he drew the bag, about 95,000 Ghana cedis. And somebody I know who cannot be able to afford that. So under this Mahama Care, one of the things to do is to take care of some of the critical conditions. Critical conditions. Which the NHIS doesn't do. Now, people who hold NHIS card go to these same doctors. And they will do next, and be treating those who are paying cash. He knows that very well. Because the fund is not able to take care of some of these conditions. So please, let it not make it look as though your mama is doing anything bad. If for nothing at all, is to take care of some of these issues. And all these diseases, when they come up, a lot of families, even the rich families, are not able to.
Is it just looking for legacy?
Looking for legacy? How does establishing a trust fund look for legacy? So the one who established the NHIS, get fund, all the others, is it legacy?
They are all attributed to them.
Attributed to who? When you mention get fund to them, who do you mention?
When you mention NHIS, what do you mention?
No, when you mention get fund, who do you mention?
Who established get fund?
You're asking me. I thought you said his legacy. So you would have known who established it. That fund was under President Rollins. VAT under President Rollins. But do we mention VAT Rollins fund?
But this one has a nickname.
It is for the state. Period. It's for the state.
Bro, let me hear from engineer on this medical trust fund.
Okay. Science student.
The doctor has spoken, the science student has spoken. So let's hear from the engineer.
I think that in
school precisely gone.
Thank you.
Trying to resolve our challenges as a country goes beyond good intent. We must look at the steps we are taking to address the problem. And this is where it is important that we appreciate the linkages between all manner of things. So let's take health. To have good health, it's not about medication. To have good health is about good nutrition, having good nutrition, having good sanitation system, and then exercising. These are the primary things that drive good health. Nutrition, sanitation, and exercise. These are the fundamentals. Now, because medicine is the last resort, because naturally, somewhere there may be slips through the crack and then you may have an infection or you may have some condition for which you need to be treated. So for us as a poor country, we need to look at where do we need to focus as a country. Sanitation is a problem in Ghana today. So how are we dealing with the issues of sanitation fundamentally so that we can reduce the burden of disease in this country? That should be primary. That should be something we should spend a lot of time and energy on. We should also be looking at nutrition. What are the foods available for people to eat so that their immune systems will be built up so that they can fight off diseases easily? These are things that we should focus on. But unfortunately, we don't seem to be putting a lot of focus because, look, medication requires that we spend a lot of our foreign exchange importing drugs, for instance, and administering them. So as a country, we need to sit down and look at the interlinkages between the basic things and health itself. And say that how do we reduce the cost of healthcare instead of simply creating other places where we want to throw up money and it may not get us the results. For instance, again, is it a duplication? Clearly, I don't think it is worth creating a separate thing because you create administrative structures, all manner of bottlenecks that don't help anyone. For instance, I have always argued about the creation of the National Identification Authority. Why? Because we have a births and deaths registry. Why did we need to create another? You see, because our politicians continuously want to say we have created jobs. When we're actually duplicating a lot of things. So for me, we should sit back as a country and ask sincere questions. It's not good just to have a good intent, but it's also to look at how do we implement it efficiently and effectively. Consistently, every government comes and says, we have done this, but has it yielded results? What has been the outcome? We have built roads, but how come the roads are still bad? We have built hospitals, how come healthcare is still poor in Ghana? So we need to sit back as a country and say, look, let's look at the numbers. What are the real outcomes of the things that we have done? Rather than simply say that we have done this. So for me, this issue about health trust fund is simply a duplication and won't yield the necessary results that it should yield. So we should rather go back and say, look, what is it that is deficient about the national health insurance system that we need to improve? Because for us to have continuous improvement, we must audit systems and say, what do we do to improve it? Rather than simply duplicate other things. So, sincerely, the question should be about what is the weakness with the national health insurance scheme? How do we improve it such that it can cater for this other disease if they are not being catered for already? Or how do we ensure that people can have better access to care rather than what we are doing? But fundamentally, I think that we should be looking at the issues of sanitation. We should be spending more time on how to educate people to exercise. Let me give you a typical example. Our universities must be leading in this kind of thing. Because you see, our universities are supposed to be centers of excellence by themselves. Because they are training people for the future. So I would expect that our university campuses by now should have said that, look, we want to encourage students to ride bicycles. We want to ensure that all the university campuses are designed with walking lanes. You understand? But go to our university and see what is happening. Even the buses that they are using to convey students, I would have expected that by now our universities would have come out with guidance to say, look, in the next 5 years, if you want to be a bus operator on the campus, you should be operating electric vehicles. These are the things that I see future. Because our university campuses are disappointing us. They must begin to show the way to the future. So that governments will go to our university campus and say, this is what we should be doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer. A number of your messages have come in. This one says, Mr. Michael is spot on with the issue of the demolition. We are not serious as a country. We appoint people into very specific offices who have no idea what work they are responsible for or how to even go about them. This one again also says, I side with Engineer. Those who bought the lands had it registered at Lands Commission and it was allowed. The Assembly gave the permit for those structures to be erected. We can't be punishing the owners of these buildings for the negligence of those who are employed to take proactive measures. This one is asking for what kind of documents one needs to have before building a house so that when demolition comes in, you can ask for compensation. Okay. My name is Alexander Dewise from Ablekuma in Sufa, Accra. My worry is the kings and owners of the land should be held responsible for this Ramsar site mess. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Unfortunately, this is all time will permit us. Unfortunately, this is all time will permit us. We need to go. I'm sorry. But my
if there's anything my brother has alluded to, is to confirm that the Mahama Cares, the duplication of function, is not sustainable.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. This has been the usual segment here on Breakfast Daily. I am Duffuor Boate. Many thanks for your time. But stay with us. Philip and Chris will take over from here.
In a fast-growing urban environment like Accra, safety should not be too far-reaching. It should be as easy as ABC. Hear the real stories from those who now feel safe like never before with Response One.
We were held at gunpoint in our own home, and they got away with it.
We didn't have Response One back then. That was the most terrifying experience of our lives.
But after that, we subscribed to Response One to ensure that never happens again. The last time the hoodlums tried, we had installed Response One monitored alarm system. Their response team arrived, followed by the police, to ensure we are safe.
Don't wait for tragedy to strike. Protect your home with Response 1's monitored alarm system and our theft protection guarantee. Immediate response, real protection. Response 1. Stay connected, stay protected.
Wake up in the morning feeling super fine. Let's go, don't got no time, yeah. Turn it up, I'ma strut my stuff. You see me walking on the block, can't get enough. Like, nobody can touch me. They wanna be like me, but I got no time to get up, get up, get up. Now let's go. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta.
Play me for.
It's go time. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Call me. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Now let's go.
Beautiful.
Get up.
Wow.
Decent cross, wasn't going for it. Out towards goal. That's a superb finish.
When it's go time to supercharge your hustle, make it go time for GoTV.
Get up, now let's go.
Love it.
No matter how far you run away, you always come back to where you started.
Tortured, mutilated, fingers cut off.
I can lend you the money. My boss believes in giving players another chance.
You don't know what to do if you don't have the money to pay back. Come and listen to me.
Sir, it's done. Good. 1 week, that is all you got to pay up.
You've been gambling.
Unfortunately, we're still chasing shadows. He's clearing the board to make way for something bigger.
How could you do this to us, God? Who's there?
Are you a student in Ghana? Are you 11 to 15 years old? Are you ready to write, think, and analyze your way into hearts and minds and straight to the top? Then it's time for you to get ready for the Literacy Challenge 2025. For Level 1, this year's big essay topic is, in not less than 600 words, discuss the effects of climate change on agriculture in Ghana. What challenges do these effects create for individuals, families, communities, and the nation? Suggest practical solutions to help all Ghanaians mitigate these challenges. Your essay must be in your own handwriting. It must be endorsed by a parent or a guardian. Add your full contact details. Deadline, Saturday, 26th July 2025. Submit entries to the front desk of Channel 1 TV or City FM, or mail to P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central. If you make it to Level 2 and go on to win Level 3, you will win 10,000 Ghana cedis cash, a glitzy trophy, and bragging rights as the most outstanding all-round student in Ghana. So, get writing and show the nation what you've got. For more details, call 0205-973-973. The Literacy Challenge 2025 is powered by City FM, supported by Channel 1 TV, and is sponsored by Belmu and GB Assessment.
Curious about what's happening beyond your borders? Beyond Borders takes you there. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m., join Caleb Kuda as he explores the stories that shape our world, connecting you with Ghanaians in other cultures and seeing the world through their eyes.
So we've learned one thing: you leave your shoes outside. Wow.
Tuesdays,
yeah.
you know, I won't go to Ghana dressed in a Lacoste.
As director of operations.
From international politics to the human stories that define nations, Beyond Borders brings you a fresh perspective of Ghanaians around the world, one conversation at a time. Beyond Borders with Caleb Kuda airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
It's still Breakfast Daily. Once more, good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Carter.
And I am Philip Ni Latte.
And we're excited to be here with you this morning. Of course, you know Nana Duffuor actually started the show from 7 a.m., but we are going to be taking you throughout the show till 11 a.m. And we promise it's going to be exciting, it's going to be educating and very informative. And remember that you're also part of the Breakfast Daily community. So feel free to join at any time by sending in your thoughts, your messages, your questions via the WhatsApp number on the screen. And do not forget to use the hashtag Breakfast Daily if you want to leave any comment on Facebook or X. And if you're watching us on YouTube Live right now, all you need to do is use the comment section. The comment section is open right there for you to ask all those questions and also send all those heartfelt messages that you are willing to send your friends and your families and your loved ones. We'll get to read it on the show.
And today is Wednesday. Very soon we are bringing you the end of the entries for Literacy Challenge. That is Saturday. If you haven't submitted your entries, yes, please make sure that you get it now. This is level 1. And yesterday we had Philemon Dabra, 2011 winner, and today is a doctor. We can't tell what you'll be tomorrow, but you should make sure that you are part of this all-important competition. It's a way to also try and broaden your horizon. So you can see what has been projected on the screen as the Literacy Challenge 2025 for students aged 11 to 15 years, and 10,000 Ghana cedis up for grabs, trophy, and also the bragging right. The topic is, in not less than 600 words, discuss the effects of climate change on agriculture in Ghana. What challenges do these effects create for individuals, families, communities, and the nation? Suggest practical solutions to help all Ghanaians mitigate these challenges. And we've been battling with climate change issues in this country, from flood to drought and all that. Submit this entry in your own handwriting. The script must be in your own handwriting. Also, scripts must be endorsed by a parent or guardian. Add your full contact details. And we keep saying here, the last day, the deadline is 26th July 2025. After 26th July 2025, we aren't receiving any entries here at Channel 1 TV or City 97.3 FM.
All right, and remember that the Channel 1 News app is on Google Play Store, and all you need to do is head to Google Play Store and download it so you can actually have Channel 1 News closer to you. If you love the channel and you love everything that we do, and always want to stay updated with every information, especially news and stories that we put out there, all you need to do is head to Google Play Store, pick up your phone, your tablets, and then you can download the Channel 1 News app, so you can have Channel 1 anywhere you go, everywhere you go, have access to everything that we do.
So sort of you're carrying Channel 1 in your palm.
Yes.
it actually makes life very easy, so you should download this app and use it. I'm sure you know of the Volunteers TV show every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. It's a way for you to understand the powerful stories of sacrifice, service, and also hope. You should make it a point to watch this show every Sunday at 6:30 p.m.
Right. So now let's get into the trends and what is trending. What is everybody talking about on social media? Yesterday down to this morning, the Black Queens and WAFCON was trending. And obviously we know that the Black Queens actually played with Morocco yesterday for the semi-finals, but unfortunately the Black Queens lost to Morocco in the women's AFCON semis, and the match ended 1-1. Sterling Nyamiche scored for the Queens.
She did well.
And they went to penalties, and Evelyn Badi and Comfort Yeboah missed for Ghana. But Morocco were perfect with winning 4-2. And
that is in penalties.
Yeah, so Ghana to face South Africa on Friday in third place playoff. And Morocco will take Nigeria in finals, because Nigeria actually beat South Africa yesterday. I think it was 2-1. Yeah, and it's still being talked about.
I was watching the match as soon as the Morocco team was equalized. I put off the TV.
Why?
I was brokenhearted.
Really?
But they did well. The ladies really did well. They did so well. And we say congratulations to all of them. Though they've lost, we are still congratulating them because I think they are doing something right there. Some reactions on that. Plan B says that Asantwa, yes, Asantwa really did well. Can replace can replace Thomas Partey in Black Stars. You think so?
Well, maybe not that, but I feel like with the reactions that we are getting these days, especially with this particular games that happened, this particular competition, I would say, not the game. I feel like people are beginning to realize that the women actually have something, that it's time to invest in women's football. Do you understand? Or women's sports. Because everybody's beginning to enjoy it. Before, it was just women watching women. Do you understand? But now the men have caught up, everybody's watching, everybody's saying that, okay, the girls can really play. They can really play, you know? Maybe, like, for Nigeria, people say, oh, like, this team can actually be the Super Eagles. I don't know about that, but, you know, people are beginning to compare them to the boys. So that's a good thing to the guys. So that's a good thing to show that there's progression. But I'm just praying that in as much as we're enjoying it and, you know, everybody is seeing that there's potential in women's sport, I think it's also time to invest in it, pay them. Pay them. Pay them what they deserve.
So that they would be able to, they'll be motivated to do more. And other female players will also try and get into that space. More reactions from this from United Remix. He says that we lost the game due to poor decision making in the final third. Well, I really don't know much about that. OG Talk says that I'm very proud. They have over-exceeded my expectations. We go again next year. I understand this is like the third time, or the Ghanaians have gotten to the final for the third time, but unfortunately we weren't able to get to that position this time around. This one from Abdul FX16 says that if the Queens had taken their chances in the first half of the game, they would have killed the game in the first half, but they missed lots of chances. Anyway, that's the comment coming from the camp, or let's say the Black Stars meeting Morocco yesterday, and we know that definitely we are going to see how the third or fourth position is going to be. That is the Black Queens. Hey, sorry, I said Black Stars. Sorry, I wanted to give the men shine to the women, or the women shine rather to the men. So we will be following this keenly and see how best the players will perform in the third or fourth place. We also have another one, Kevin Taylor. He's training. Yesterday, the Supreme Court quashed a bench warrant issued in 2020 for the arrest of the US-based Ghanaian journalist Kevin Taylor. The warrant had been issued by a high court over alleged contemptuous comments Kevin Taylor made against Justice Eric Che Duffuor. The apex court ruled that the warrant was unlawful and should not have been issued under the circumstances. The decision effectively brings an end to a 5-year legal standoff that stemmed from Taylor's critical commentary on a case presided over by Justice Che Duffuor. Yesterday, you could tell Kevin was really walking free after
he was happy.
Yeah, he was happy.
Yeah.
He was happy.
So with still, you know, that trend, we also have the Supreme Court attached to it, and we had Duffuor and the AG all trending at the same time. So talking about Kwabena Duffuor, the AG says he will not proceed with the case against Dr. Kwabena Duffuor and 7 others over charges relating to the collapse of Unibank. So yeah, you know, I think like yesterday, you know, was like Christmas for some people.
Some of the tweets that we have seen, Kevin Taylor himself, 16 hours ago, he tweeted, "My brother just called me to say he would come home soon, years of return." Hey, so right now Kevin is in Ghana. Another one too says that from Albert Hyde, that is a Bongo idea, says, "I'm not a fan of Duffuor, but I deeply respect him for decriminalizing libel in 2001. This has made it important for anyone to be arrested, jailed, or punished for expressing their opinions. Low-key, Kevin Taylor owes this win to him. Anyway, with all due respect, which also belongs to Kevin Taylor, says that like him or hate him, he doesn't require any validation. He is Kevin Taylor.
Right, so there's another one by Miss Yenu. The grounds on which the Supreme Court allowed Kennedy Japan to walk are the same grounds on which the Supreme Court allowed Kevin Taylor to walk. And yeah, that's it. And then we also have different memes of, you know, that are, you know, depicting Kevin Taylor. We have different memes from, you know, social media, and very funny ones at that. And it seems like a celebration for some people, like I said. Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for on Kevin Taylor. Let's bring you the final one that has to do with Irabna Obing. She's the newest member of parliament in Ghana's parliament, and she is the MP for Ablikuma North. You know of the 19 polling stations that the rerun took place, the aftermath and all that issues and all that. But she was sworn in yesterday, and the minority walked out because of violence in the rerun. Also, the speaker announced her as the youngest MP, causing some confusions. I understand that what the speaker said didn't really mean it like that. He maybe was referring to that's the newest or the freshest member of parliament, but I'm sure maybe there was a slip somewhere and says that's the youngest. But that actually brought some confusion, because we know the Magbana is 34 years, Franska Otin Mensah was 23 years when she became the Kwabre East MP in 2016. And maybe the speaker meant the no, so that's it, the newest and not the youngest. But we have some reactions to this. Let's bring you some reactions on what people are saying after Irabna Obing was sworn in Parliament yesterday.
So we have CK Kwame Sechem. He says, congrats on our youngest MP, make the youth proud, comrade. So another one from Mr. Rich Oteng. It seems like the Otings are tweeting a lot. Dream of a second term, so don't forget your people. Build the constituency with the right development, and may God help you. And another one from Emoj Super. Congratulations, the boys on X are grateful for the update. You have not forgotten the grassroots support from X. Very important.
Yeah, it's very important. So.
Yeah. Peace war inside. Finally, you're at where you've always been destined to be. Yeah. So those are some of the reactions that we have, and want to say congratulations to Irabna Obing.
Yeah, but then again, she shouldn't forget the constituency. Her constituency, not so big, but a lot of issues. And if this constituency, you really want to take it up for another term, this is the first term, so you want to take it again and again, then you should try and pay some attention to the drainage, the markets, the roads, sanitation, and all that in the constituency. Anyway, congratulations to Irabna Obing after she was sworn in yesterday in Parliament. This is the freshest.
All right, so that's what we have for trends, and I hope you enjoyed it. But now let's check out the video of the day, and then we will continue with the show.
Not that serious. Not that serious.
Well, cats are interesting creatures.
I love them.
Yeah,
but I can't own them.
Why?
Because they're as dramatic as I am, so we'll probably fight a lot.
Very dramatic.
Yeah, so the dogs are actually something I prefer. But watching these videos, if you check out my algorithm on social media, I have a lot of animal videos I watch.
Oh.
Yeah, the cats and dogs, a lot.
Oh, okay.
That's what my algorithm shows me because I love these things. I realized that they can actually act like human beings. Yes, they actually sense some of the things that we sense, like the smell. They really do that. I watched one that the man actually had to show the cat 2 perfumes, and then the one he leaned onto was the one that smelled really nice.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, the other one didn't smell nice. So he had that reaction. And that one that did like she wanted to vomit, I think she was pregnant or something.
Video of the day.
Yes, but
Interesting one.
we want to shout out to one of the cats that we know, and we want to shout out to Helen's cat.
Oh, really?
Yes.
She has a cat?
Yes. Kwekuda Linton.
Really? Is that the name of the cat?
Yes.
Kwekuda Linton.
Yes.
Anyway,
so shout out
that's
to
interesting.
Helen.
Anyway, so that's video of the day for you. But yesterday there was an action taken at Sakumo and also the Klagon area. The regional minister Linda Oklu is continuing the demolition exercise at Ramsar sites, all geared towards ensuring that the cities or the region do not flood when there is a downpour. We'll bring you this report of what happened at the Ramsar site yesterday, reaction from people, how buildings were demolished, among other things. Then we will come back, have conversations on it, and speak to the right authorities. Watch this video.
The sound of demolition echoed across the Sakumono Ramsar site in Accra as the Greater Accra Regional Security Council intensified efforts to rid the wetland of illegal buildings and restore its ecological integrity. Several families were affected by the exercise, left packing up their belongings as years of investment and dreams came crashing down.
Before you came, were you aware that you were not supposed to build here?
No, they didn't inform us about all those things. They just said down there, no one's building.
Down there, when you say, what do you mean by down?
They said Ramsar area.
Beyond this place?
River. But we came, we know that here there's no river has even never entered here before.
So you didn't know?
No, but we know that we did top, so the demolition will not even affect us.
Okay.
And when they came here 2 months ago, and they even said here is not a part.
That's what they told you?
That's why I was following them.
Okay.
So we have to relax.
Tensions fled as groups of agitated youth marched up in protest demanding a halt to the oppression.
Why are you leasing land at a Ramsar site? Do you know the consequences of leasing the land from you or the human activity on this space? Do you know the consequences?
They sell Ramsar site. They sell Ramsar site. And from the MF estate coming, up is Ramsar site. But the MF estate have built estate there. Is it not part of Ramsar site?
Yeah, but they have created a buffer here, so they showed us a certain boundary where you're not supposed to go beyond. But it looks like you have leased the lands even beyond those boundaries.
I'm coming. Okay. You see, we have Bonavista, just here. Bonavista estate is just here. That place, when the rain used to, but they have big estate there. Who give to them? Okay. Is it not the buffer area, or is it not part of the Ramsar site?
Are you referring to down there?
No, after the river.
At the other side.
Yes. Is it not a Ramsar site? But what they give to them, they build on it. So they are telling us Ramsar site, we are sitting down, and them themselves, they are selling it to read themselves.
Despite the agitations, the exercise proceeded under the leadership of NADMO's Director General, Major Retired Joseph Kuyon, who stressed the long-term environmental benefits.
Like somebody asked whether the resistance indicated a failure today. No. No, because they did not obstruct work. They did not fight anybody. They were just making their usual noise, and work went on successfully. So I think that has been a very successful day.
That is not going to...
We didn't close prematurely also, because from the very beginning, I gave 5 o'clock. And no matter what went on, I insisted that we'll close at 5. And we'll close at 5.
Regional Minister Lindo Klu expressed satisfaction with the day's progress and reaffirmed government's commitment to fully clear encroachments from the Ramsar site.
Some of them came pleading. Is that something you intend to take to the president?
Pleading as to what? As to us leaving their buildings? I mean, no. No, because that's what I said earlier. This is not the first time we started this demolition exercise. I mean, you've seen a lot of buildings that were down. I mean, they also came pleading, but the right thing should be done. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right.
So this is what happened yesterday at Sakumo. This is not the first time. This is not the second time. And I can say for a fact, this isn't the third time, because Henry Korte has done it. Previous Greater Accra regional ministers have done it before. Henry Korte, then Titus Glover, and today we are seeing Linda Oklu also going to that same place to demolish structures at Sakumo or Ramsar site. But we have joining us the president of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, Obin Irebi. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
I trust you are doing well.
I'm doing well, except that I'm far away from Accra, and if the line drops, perhaps might be due to network problems.
Network, okay,
Thank
fine.
you.
Then we'll be very fast with our conversation so that you can share with us what you think of this move by the president, by the government rather, going in to demolish structures at Ramsar sites. First of all, what do you make of the action by the state? Every now and then, we go in to demolish structures at Ramsar sites, but we see these buildings coming up again.
Thank you. I think as a professional, there are certain things that we need to put in perspective. These things keep coming, and I don't know as a people when we can learn from this. The question, there are a lot of questions we need to ask ourselves. Who owns the land? Who gave the land out? When the developments were being undertaken, normally we have people in the assemblies who give permits. Do they have permits? The designs that are being developed, the construction, are they well designed, well engineered? There are a lot of questions that we need to ask before we can start pinpointing fingers at one another. But I believe what the government is doing, when you look at it overall, you think, oh, it's good because they are trying to restore the ecological site. That's good. However, we should not forget about the fact that when these developments started, the same government, where were they? Where were they? Didn't they see the development coming up? For people to put in so much millions of dollars or Ghana cedis, for us to say we are breaking them down. I think we need as a people to be very, very pragmatic. And as I heard, it's not going to be the first, it's not going to be the last if we don't take pragmatic steps. In that, if we don't want them to develop in the area, it means it should be well surveyed, marked out, come out with an engineering design to restore the ecological nature of the place and make sure we guard it, we safeguard it. But when we all say, people throw in a lot of hard-earned money, then we say we want to break down. It's disheartening. Seriously. So both sides, you can say, oh, looking at the economic side, it looks inhumane. However, we can also not sit down as a people to let the ecological side be damaged and be destroyed because it has an overall effect or benefit for the country. Right. Elsewhere in Rwanda, they move in and design, relocate people, and the government take over and design the place to suit the ecological nature. But we sit unconcerned. I'm sorry, I might be harsh, but the question is who caused up? The people have gone in. When they started, where were the assembly? To check the construction. If we have all been proactive, we will not come. And I believe at this time, we need as a people to sit down. I believe the wanton demolition of the buildings should not be the first option. Let's sit down, survey the whole area. Look at the place that has been affected. If it has to be given out, government comes out with a policy so that at the end of the day, everything will be intentionally executed. By the way, where everybody stands, if we get the land, where they got the land, we don't know. Then we sit down, they start development, we are all looking at it. They finish development, some of them are even living in it. Then you go and you are breaking it down. Jesus. I think we need to sit down about this topic so that when we take over as a government, we make sure we secure it and secure it properly so nobody goes there. People are obviously recalcitrant, but that is why the government is there to make sure he holds everybody in check. If the police were not to be around, there will be robbery all over the place. But because of the police, everybody is held in check. So where is the checking? Where is the supervisory role when all these things were going? I think we need to have a second look so that we can all sit down and make sure we give a lasting solution. Some of us as professionals are not comfortable. These ecological sites are being destroyed. But to what extent? So, well, they've done it. But I don't think we need to do it the way it's going. Let's survey the area first to demarcate the areas that are heavily affected. Those areas that are not heavily affected, we probably can safeguard it and make sure we move forward as a people. That will be my probably initial comment. And if any other thing come up, we will be able to contribute further.
Right.
But as an institution, we are prepared professionally to provide some technical support, working with other built environment professionals so that this menace is put to an end once and for all. Thank you.
All right. So I just want to know, have they or the government ever reached out to the institution before?
No, please. Not that I can think of. No, please. All we hear is in the news that they are demolishing buildings. Some of us don't even know where they are. The first thing that I saw, I think early in the year, the president went to one of the sites at Wager. And it was very, very disheartening. I was looking, I said, wow. For the president to be asking questions and those who have encroached on the land were arguing with the president. Guys, me. Hey, where have we come to as a people?
Right.
You see that the place has been denigrated and trying to point out that somebody was saying, I have the title. Where did the title come from? So it takes all of us, and we professional bodies are prepared to support the government in any way to solve these problems. Thank you.
Okay, so what role do surveyors actually play when it comes to identifying the protected lands like Ramsar sites?
First of all, there are maps and areas that certainly have been designated. It has not been encroached, and periodically I think there should be review so that we go in. If we don't want any encroachment, the existing layout there should be well protected. However, if we think that now has been encroached, it needs to be resurveyed so that we come up with new schemes to make sure we protect those sites. It is not only the Ramsar, there are a lot of flood-prone areas that the plans there have been destroyed. But it needs constant review so that we all will come to terms what we should do to support the general public and people living around such areas. Thank you.
But is it that the assemblies that are mandated to ensure that these places we do not have structures there have failed? And if so, don't they have surveyors at these assemblies to watch what is happening and advise accordingly?
I believe there are surveyors in the area, but the question is the leadership. The surveyor will want to do his work, but if he's not supported by the leader, his boss, working in the area, it becomes very difficult. As a staff working in the assembly, you might be a professional, But if you don't have the support from your leadership, what can you do to enforce some of these things? That's the real challenge.
And also, going forward, it looks like this is happening one too many. And if it's happening again, what do you foresee is going to be of Ramsar sites in the near future as a surveyor?
From what I see, the Ramsar sites are no more. It's been desecrated to a level that will require these demolitions. Some of the demolition I'm talking about. However, we need to resurvey the whole area, sit down, brainstorm, then see what we can make out of these restoration. As I said, Rwanda has done it perfect. The last time we went there, they've done it so perfect. I think it's a lesson that we can learn, but it requires that there will be the need for us to be engaged properly. Then we sit down, working with other those environment professionals. Engineers are there, and we can prepare solutions that will be lasting for all of us. It's not only the Ramsar side at Sakumono. There are a lot of areas, flood-prone areas, that have all been desecrated as a result of the irresponsibility of the citizens. So we need to sit down and probably look at what the government wants to do. Then we can provide that professional support.
But from what you've said, it looks like we have failed. Who will you apportion, or will you blame solely for the failure?
Oh, at this point, I don't think you need to be pointing fingers to ABC. The harm has been done. But what has been left off, we need to restore it. We don't let what has happened move on.
Now let's come to...
Thank you.
Now let's come to developers, people who buy these lands and develop it. I'm sure as surveyors, you also have a role to play when it comes to the development or putting up structures and all that. You think people are not doing the needed due diligence before they go in to buy a particular land and put up a structure?
Yes, you can say so. However, they also are not working in a vacuum. The question is, who owns the land in the first place? I believe the Ramsar sites are owned by the government. And if it's owned by the government, then the government is incumbent on the government agency to ensure that developments do not occur or happen in those areas. Because we have maps that have been done. There are planning, what we call schemes that are there. The question is, are they being implemented to the letter? So the supervision of the area is not for one person to look. It brings together a whole lot of stakeholders. I believe some other chiefs are also saying it's the alarm, blah, blah. But what the government knows the importance of the Ramsar site and other such sites that are flood prone, for instance, it has to be protected. If there is a need for government to say move in, compensate the people and ward them off, we have to do that. But the question is, we don't sit down for the after event before we begin to propose solutions. Before people start moving in there, we see them, but we all sitting down and they develop. Then we go about it. We are all running in circles, and these things must stop. I probably want to say that our area development agency, especially if you go to the MD, the assemblies are there, the supervisory role should be firmed up right from there. But it looks like everybody is sleeping. Everybody is sleeping. And as a people, that's why I started saying we don't need to apportion blame. Let's move forward and plan and decide that for once, these things will not happen.
Right. Like, what reforms would you like to see when it comes to the land sector, or to prevent, future encroachment or on any, environmental sensitive area or public lands?
The sad aspect is that at times you see some of the people who are supposed to supervise the area from being encroached, they themselves are culprits. They themselves are culprits. So when you see situations like, what can you do?
Right.
And I will not be surprised that if you go there, you see people in high authority having some of these buildings up there.
Yeah.
So it calls for discipline. We the people should know that this place, it is not done. Neither in our villages. Our mothers were telling us, you don't do this at this time. You don't listen to them. The environment was protected. But right now, what are we seeing? People are behaving with impunity all over. From the grassroots person to the top, all of us. I don't think we should pinpoint that ABC is doing. It is all of us. All of us are top. So let's sit down pragmatically, use the professionals to be able to sit down and decide. I believe development of this country should be anchored and led by professionals. Are there. At times you give advice, people will not listen. They'll say, oh, go ahead, go, don't work, go, let me do whatever I want to do. But if it happens like this, it's the same government or the same country who have developed or trained these professionals. Use them effectively. We are there. And if you not be used, you can't force your knowledge on anybody. So we need to, that is what I'm saying. It is all consultation and engagement, and we should be prepared, and we are prepared to sit down with government and profess a long-lasting solution.
Wow.
That at the end of the day, the generation yet to come will count as in that indeed we have protected the environment for them to come and inherit. But the way it's going, I'm afraid if we all don't sit down and begin to put a stop and hold on some of these things, future generation will not forgive all of us.
Very true. But before you go, any word to developers? Because it looks like they are
developers,
receiving
they have their money, they want to develop everywhere. If you give them the seed, they will develop. Give them the seed, they will develop. So there should be the regulations and restrictions so that they will be guarded. What we are doing, they will be guarded. Don't go here, they won't go. But if that is not there, no, we are now talking about other things that are developing the environment. They will do it, whether you like it or not, because they have their money. And when they see money, developers, they are businessmen, that's where they will go. But we, the stakeholders and technocrats, we have to guide them. This is not done. This is allowed. You want to open up a company, set up a company, go to register general, the procedures are there. So if they are not there, then there will be a jungle. Everybody will do what he likes. So you can't blame one person for doing that. I believe it is all of us. Let's put a break to some of the things we're doing, and we'll be able to repair and resolve whatever has even been done wrong. Thank you.
Grateful for your time, sir. We are grateful. Surveyor Kofi Obin Ayrebi is the president of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, and he has said it all. It looks like we go sleeping, and then when once a while we come and strike, then we go and sleep again. My big problem is, like I asked him, is caution to developers. You pump in huge amounts of money to buildings and all those things, and you see your building coming down.
Right.
Because with the demolition exercise, I've been there before with the regional minister, and when we went, it's very sad. People weeping, crying. The last time there was one. Somebody actually was blaming an official from the Forestry Commission or the Lands Commission.
Mr. Boateng.
Yeah, that he has taken some money from them and he has allowed them put up structures then and all that.
And he kept taking money for a long time.
So, like what the president of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors has stated, we sit down. We do not pay attention to what is happening. You can't tell me that this structure, what you are seeing on TV, just got there in a day. No, it took days, it took months, and even years. And we sat down watching these things, and one day we just take a machine or equipment to these places that we want to demolish the structures.
You know, and I also think because a lot of times it happens all of a sudden because something has to happen. Basically, when there's a case of flooding, then everybody remembers,
this is what is causing it. So we have to move there.
So, and I think it's very important to also have a conversation on what Ramsar sites are. Let people know what Ramsar sites are. You know, it's not just a recognized wetland, but it's actually internationally recognized wetlands that are vital to biodiversity, to climate issues, and even to flood control. So now, if we're able to share that information to people, then I think people will know. But I don't think a lot of people know it like that. A lot of people just know, okay, they're just wet.
It's a land.
Yeah, it's just a land.
I just move in there and have to develop it.
No, but a bit wet. You know, but a bit wet. So we can, you know, put more cement and pour more cement and pour more cement, and then everything will be fine. Do you understand? So I think it's also about the education of what or how important Ramsar sites are, and that whole there should be proactiveness. We don't do anything proactive.
Anyway, let's engage our last who is with the coordinator for eco-conscious and also an environmentalist to educate us well what really a Ramsar site is, for this education to seek down into our minds and so that we understand it better. Good morning, madam. I trust you are doing well.
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
We are grateful for joining us. First of all, I want to ask you, if we say, or the term Ramsar site, is it only to prevent flooding, or what really is the benefit of the site?
Well, as has been rightly said by the lady, Ramsar sites are not just wetlands. They are designated under the Ramsar Convention. Ramsar is in Iran, and the convention was signed in 1971. So they are they are internationally protected wetlands, and they are crucial. They play a crucial role in conserving biodiversity, in mitigating climate change, and also in supporting human livelihoods. And as has already been said, they help in flood control, and they also help in water purification. But I would like to add here that enforcement is the best form of education. You see, you can keep educating until you are blue. For example, when you go to illegal mining, you think those the environmental terrorists don't know that they are poisoning the water bodies, that they are destroying farmland. They know and they don't care. So you have to make them care. As was rightly said, the buildings don't just spring up overnight. Sometimes you see stop work, they continue. But if they know that whether they reach lentil level or not, whether they moved in or not, the bulldozers can come, then I think they'll think twice. These buildings are preventing, biodiversity. As I said, they can bring about flooding. And we said that Ramsar sites are critical biodiversity sites. So what needs to happen is that the buildings must be brought down. That is the best form of education. As we speak, go to the Kweshi Lagoon, where before you had, it's not a Ramsar site, but it's a wetland. You had tilapia, which was supporting livelihoods. They were also doing the flood prevention and so on and so forth. There are buildings there. You might go and see stop work. But the duty bearers must be brought to book. You cannot be employed to protect our environment, and then people build wherever they want to build, forest reserves, waterways, Ramsar sites, and then you just sit by and allow them to continue building. And the worst thing we sometimes do is regularization. That to me is one of the worst things we can do. How can you regularize illegalities? When an armed robber has finished robbing, can you say you're going to regularize armed robbery? Of course not. You deal with the armed robber. So we need to be firm. We need to remove all structures on wetlands. It cannot be negotiable. And then we need to hold accountable all the duty bearers who have sat idly by and allow this to happen.
Right.
But from your end as eco-conscious, I'm sure you've sounded this word of caution a number of times. You think that we haven't heeded to what the sanctions are, and also when it comes to we ensuring that the right thing is done, we have failed in that regard?
Yes, because you see, one thing we don't understand is enforcement. Ghanaian duty bearers are allergic to enforcement. Whether it's somebody causing noise pollution, will not enforce the laws. Somebody building in forest reserves will not enforce the laws. As we speak, a petrol station has been built on Parks and Gardens land in Wa, in the Upper West region. And yes, the petrol station has opened. It's opened in June. It's open to business on Parks and Gardens lands that were allocated as green, as I even lose my thought. Land that was allocated as a green space for horticultural purposes. You have a filling station there. What needs to happen is that it should be removed. But but your duty bearers are allergic to enforcement. Unless we are prepared to enforce our laws and regulations, people will continue being lawless. The same people, when they travel outside Ghana or they travel to neighboring Rwanda, are they lawless? Of course not, because they know that there are laws and regulations which will be enforced. But in Ghana, they are not enforced. That is the problem we have.
Yeah, okay, so would you say the duty bearers actually lack the education of what their roles are?
You see, it's not that they lack the education. They're unwilling to do their jobs. Before you're employed, you know very well what your terms of reference are. They do sometimes go and write stop work. What does stop work mean? Bribe me? What does stop work mean? I've been to the Peshi, where people are built. I can see in red, stop work. We've been to the duty bearers. We've been to even the traditional authorities. They say they've contacted the national security. Nothing is happening. So we ask ourselves, why do the duty bearers think they're there? But if we have a system where there are unauthorized buildings springing up and the duty bearers lose their jobs, they'll have an incentive to ensure that the wrong thing is not done. But as it is, they don't lose their jobs. They just sit there, collect their salaries, and they do not do what they are supposed to do. So we need to ask ourselves, who are the duty bearers? Why have they sat there and allowed this to happen? And deal with them. If they are held accountable, believe me, they'll begin to take their jobs more seriously.
But from where you sit, do we still have Ramsar sites in this country?
Of course we do. I mean, Sakumno is a Ramsar site. There are so many others. We have them, but they have been encroached upon. But it's not too late. What we need to do is to remove all structures on Ramsar sites and then hold Ghana Electricity Corporation accountable when they send services to wetlands. You know that you're not supposed to build there. So you have no business sending water or electricity there. Hold them accountable because you are complicit in illegality. When the eco-conscious citizens had their manifesto launched, one of the things we had was that all structures on our wetlands must be removed. The government says they've come to do a resetting. You must have a resetting of mindset. The test of this current administration, which has an overwhelming majority, is to see how they are going to reset our thinking. And they can only do that by ensuring that it's not a one-day wonder. All the buildings on Ramsar sites are removed. You cannot regularize. You need to remove them. And that will serve as a cautionary tale to others that do not build where you shouldn't build. Because even if the duty bearers are slow in acting, the day of reckoning will come. And you cannot have a permit. You cannot have a building permit to put up a structure on a Ramsar site. If you do, whoever signs the permit should be prosecuted.
But this is getting scary by the day. It looks like there are demolition exercises conducted on these Ramsar sites day in, day out. This is not a third, this is not the last, and I can say that it will happen again. We understand the regional minister will be at other Ramsar sites to demolish structures. But what do you think can be done if the structures are demolished? Now that the structures are demolished, the land is left bare, which is supposed to be, but people still get the chance to go there and put up structures.
Yes, why does that happen? Because our enforcement and monitoring is weak. After you've demolished the buildings, you don't go to sleep. There must be a number there, because you see, you don't start building just like that. They take the sand, they take all sorts of debris there to act as a strong foundation. When the trucks are going there, people see it. But what do they do? I myself have contacted the regional minister to tell her that the Peshi Lagoon was being filled. I got a call at about 11 p.m. A week or two ago telling me that there were trucks going to the Peshi and filling it. I contacted the regional minister via Facebook and brought it to her attention. She responded to say she'll work on it. I'm not quite sure what has actually happened. I appreciate the fact that the task is enormous, that we have to start somewhere. Demolish the structures. The local authority under whose jurisdiction the wetlands lie has a responsibility to patrol. You get the community close by, give them a number. You see any movement, call us, and then deal with it swiftly. Don't wait for them to finish building before you wake up from your slumber. And people who have supervised the encroachment of our Ramsar site should be dealt with. You see, unless we are prepared to take the robust action that needs to be taken, we'll keep on having these conversations. They might be destroyed, or one or two, and then people get phone calls, then they decide to regularize and all that sort of thing. Let's have a reset. Let's be robust. Remove all the illegal structures from our Ramsar site because they are a threat to biodiversity. They cause flooding where people die. And then after you finish removing the Ramsar site, put system in place. After you finish removing the illegal structures, put systems in place to ensure that this doesn't happen again. Have the community understand what is going on, and they will tell you when people are trying to come back, and then you take immediate action. You don't go to sleep.
Right. Okay, so lastly, I just want to know, so what happens when the illegal structures are demolished? Do they just leave everything as debris there? And also, if they do, won't it affect, the site, maybe with pollution, since we're talking about biodiversity and all that?
You've asked a very good question. You don't just destroy, leave all the debris and then go away. Of course not. You need to get your trucks. You need to remove the debris from the Ramsar site, and you need to engage in restoration. You need to restore the wetlands. You cannot restore the wetlands if there's debris all over. So you need to remove the debris, and you need to get your experts, Arocha and others. You need to get your experts in. They will show you how to have a proper restoration of the wetland. And after you've done that, for heaven's sake, ensure that it doesn't happen again. There must be regular patrols. People in the area must have a phone number they should call whenever they can see unlawful activity taking place. But yes, you don't just demolish and then go away, mission accomplished. Of course not. Demolition is only the first step. You need to remove the debris and then proceed to restoration. There are steps to take to ensure that the water life, the plants that have been destroyed, because the Ramsar site supports a whole range of plants and animal life. A lot of them have been killed by our activities. But you can have restoration. You can put systems in place to revive the wetlands.
Well, Awolasewa, thank you for your time. She is the coordinator for Eco-Conscious and also an environmentalist. Someone who said that he who have ears should hear.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a lot of work to be done, not just, removing the structures.
Yeah.
But after removing the structures, what next? How are we going to restore those lands if we really want to keep them for what they are?
You could hear from the surveyor's point of view that developers, they have their money. Even if you give them the seed,
they will actually
develop,
build it.
yes.
Yeah.
But the law enforcers is what is needed. Enforcement of the law or whatever is enshrined is what is important, because if you do not enforce the law, everything will be done, there will be chaos. Everybody will be done anything anyhow, haphazardly. Everyone will be moving around doing their own thing. But if you enforce the law that this place is a Ramsar site and nobody goes there, why will you be going in and out, demolishing properties and all that? We are even going to move away from that. It's even another resource on the government is wasting when it has to move in there to demolish Ramsar sites, because you are moving in with equipment, you are buying fuel for the demolition exercise to go on. You are paying security officers who are going there to man or to ensure that there isn't any chaos when the exercise is happening and all that. There is a message coming from Phil from Kwabinya, says that why can't we have billboards showing all Ramsar sites so the general public is aware that it's a no-go area?
This is a very important question.
But also the chiefs are also claiming ownership of these lands.
But they are Ramsar sites. So what's going to happen? Are they going to, because now it comes to, okay, yes, it's my land, but are you going to compensate me if you want to take it because it's a Ramsar site?
It's a bigger question. It's a bigger question. Anyway, so we'll be monitoring activities when it comes to the demolition exercise. We understand that it's going to be done in phases from the regional minister's point of view, Linda Oklu. We're monitoring what will be happening at these places. But you also, as a developer, do the due diligence or ensure that due diligence is done when you are purchasing a land and also putting up your structure to save you that cost that you would incur some amount of money and eventually that structure will be pulled down. It's just sad. You're still watching Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. We'll be back with more.
Welcome to the McLean Air Series. I am Joe McLean, your guide to the smoky, dusty, cloudy, choky side of life. Today we are visiting some places that pop with pollution. Let me mask up. Vehicle fumes have taken over the air, and soon this place will find it hard to breathe. According to the World Health Organization, as many as 28,000 people die every year in Ghana from air pollution. You live here, you breathe dirtier air than the whole of Accra. Look, let me show you. What an irony. No burning here. No one is truly safe. Even the posh areas are not spared from the smoke. Look, we can't ignore this. Do something. Call 057-972-4072 or send WhatsApp. You can also speak to your assembly so we all can breathe freely.
This message was brought to you by Infinity 970 with support from Breathe Cities.
Drowning in deadlines, data running wild. Let's fix this together. Join the evolution. Join the sharpest minds in HR at the HR Connect Conference 2025 on August 8 at the Marvin Peak Hotel, Accra, under the theme Empowering HR Excellence, Leveraging Data, Resilience, and Wellness for a Thriving Workplace. It's not just another conference. It's strategy, tech, wellness, and a few smart laughs too. Panels, keynotes, real talk, and real solutions. Let's lead, connect, and transform the way we work. For further inquiries and bookings, please call on 0541-222-365 to secure your seat. HR Connect Conference 2025. Lead, connect, transform.
Me pay so dear me chame sister me dad dear me chibia na me amshishimi akuna ida me many tea o some me saka me se me ida so te sika se dia so demo hwe juju so wo mo bag de ho dia me ba bi free so wa hwe bag na ma wo na me hwe wow se me nya kwanfo bi na na mo sole o hey.
Are you a student in Ghana? Are you 11 to 15 years old? Are you ready to write, think, and analyze your way into hearts and minds and straight to the top? Then it's time for you to get ready for the Literacy Challenge 2025. For Level 1, this year's big essay topic is, in not less than 600 words, discuss the effects of climate change on agriculture in Ghana. What challenges do these effects create for individuals, families, communities, and the nation? Suggest practical solutions to help all Ghanaians mitigate these challenges. Your essay must be in your own handwriting. It must be endorsed by a parent or a guardian. Add your full contact details. Deadline, Saturday, 26th July 2025. Submit entries to the front desk of Channel 1 TV or City FM, or mail to P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central. If you make it to Level 2 and go on to win Level 3, you will win 10,000 Ghana cedis cash, a glitzy trophy, and bragging rights as the most outstanding all-round student in Ghana. So, get writing and show the nation what you've got. For more details, call 0205-973-973. The Literacy Challenge 2025 is powered by City FM, supported by Channel 1 TV, and is sponsored by Belmu and GB Assessment.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
All right, welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily, and right now we're about to have a conversation. And obviously, anytime I sit on this red sofa, you know that, okay, the conversation is about to be lit. But yeah, I hope you're ready for it. So it's still July, and that means it's still Nutrition Month. Remember, 2 weeks ago, we had a conversation with a registered dietitian on, you know, the importance of reading food labels. But today, we are going to be looking at how to shop smart in the market, using food labels. So in the studio with me is Georgina Ntem Elam, who's a registered dietitian and also a culinary dietitian and a healthy living advocate, and also a member of GAND. Hi, how are you, Georgina?
I am fine. How are you too?
I'm fine, thank you. It's really nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, so let's get straight into the conversation.
Sure.
2 weeks ago, your colleague was here and she told us July was Nutrition Month.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was anything like Nutrition Month, but we had a very great conversation about, you know, labels. But today you are going to be taking us through how we can actually shop smart, you know, using food labels, especially in the market. So first of all, let's rewind a bit, say for those that are joining us for the first time, you know, why is Nutrition Month important?
Okay, so before I go into the whole discussion surrounding food label, I would first and foremost want to extend my sincere appreciation to the Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics for the opportunity to represent them here, and also to Channel 1 TV for the platform to educate their viewers. Okay, so right into food labeling, just like you said, we are in the National Nutrition Month, which is being organized by GAND. And the theme for our celebration is behind every label, that is behind every food label, lies a story. Make yours a healthy one. And the purpose for this campaign is to increase food label literacy. That is to educate Ghanaians on the need to learn how to read labels and to critically and carefully interpret food labels. Why this? Because recently there has been a surge in chronic diseases and lifestyle diseases in the country, like hypertension, diabetes. I know you have seen it on the news, you have heard of the numbers and all of that. And most of these diseases stem from our intake, what we put into our bodies. Now, if we want to go back to reducing the risk of these diseases, we have to go back to the roots and correcting what we put in our bodies. And in recent times, we have realized that a lot of Ghanaians are swaying away from whole foods and going to packaged foods because of convenience and busy schedules and many more reasons. But then the issue here is that packaged food is not a problem. It is good, but it only becomes a problem if we do not know what we are putting in our bodies. That is why this campaign is very essential and necessary to educate all Ghanaians so as to reduce the risks of chronic diseases here.
All right, so let's talk about, you know, the front of pack warning labels. How do front of pack warning labels actually help shoppers identify which food is high in sugar, in salt, unhealthy fats, and so on?
Okay, so just as you see projected on the screen, front of package labels are just symbols that are on the front of the label, just as the name states, on the front of the label, and they immediately tell you that a food is high in sugar, high in saturated fat, high in sodium, high in fat, and high in trans fat. So it's more like an alert. It's like a traffic light. You know, before you get to the traffic light, when the light is red, you know you have to stop.
Yeah.
It's the same with the front of package label.
Yeah.
If it's high, you know you have to stop. If it's moderate, you have to pause and think through. Do I really need to consume this?
Right.
But if it's low and the color is green like a traffic light,
Right.
you know you have to go ahead and consume it.
Oh, okay. So it also works with colors.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
And
never thought of
currently, GAN in collaboration with Send Ghana, is trying to push this policy so that it can be implemented in Ghana, so
Right.
that our Ghanaian products can also have this alert on the front of package to immediately influence consumer choice and decision.
Right. So that means you have to be working with the FDA.
Yes. So they are working with them.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Now let's talk about marketing.
Okay.
You know, a lot of brands come up with some juicy ways to sell their product, and one of the juiciest, spiciest, nicest thing that we hear today is organic food, organic this, natural product, this and that, you know, even low fat these days. So yeah, so how important is reading the label beyond the marketing claim? You know, the marketing claim can come as low fat. For example, I don't want to call any beverage name. We see some beverages and they're like no sugar, no that. But at the end of the day, it's still sweet.
It's
So,
still
like,
sweet.
What's up with that? Yeah.
You know, those are claims. And claims are what manufacturers put on the product to suggest that a product is giving you this, when in real terms, it's not. So when you get such a product, the best thing is to flip to the back, to read the ingredient list, the nutrition facts panel, and any other thing.
So
the
you have
food
to read
claims,
the ingredient list.
Exactly.
Which we learned last time that that the unhealthy ones actually come first.
No.
Oh, no, not the unhealthy. the ones with more you know,
the ones that make up the bulk of the product.
Say more sugar, more syrup and stuff like that, like bulk of product.
The ones that make up the bulk of product. So it can be a good ingredient, it can be a bad ingredient.
But the last time we saw very bad ingredients.
Yes, the last time. But in some scenarios or cases, there are products that still have good ingredients coming first.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's so unfortunate you saw that the last time.
Yeah.
And also you have to look at the nutrition facts panel where you have the serving size, the calories, the key nutrients to watch out for, which is the fats, sodium, and sugar.
Yeah, fat, sodium, and sugar.
And
so
most,
sodium is the salt
exactly,
intake, right?
Sodium is the salt intake. And most brands disguise these names so as to influence consumer choice.
So what should we look out for?
So, so like we can see here, we have the serving size and the serving per container. The serving size is a reference to the other parameters you see there. So the ones in red are the key nutrients you have to watch out for. Okay, so we have the saturated fats, the trans fats, the cholesterol and sodium. That's why it's in red, just like the traffic lights.
Yeah,
and then
and also includes 8 grams of added sugar.
Exactly. And then we have the ones in green, which are beneficial nutrients. And these ones, when consumed, can help your body in so many ways. So we have the dietary fiber, we have the vitamins, and then the minerals.
Right.
Yes. And in instances like this, you see we have the percentage daily value.
Right.
Now this is a trick I like to teach people. When you go on the market, okay, and you take a product, make sure the percentage value of the beneficial nutrients, the ones in green, are above 20%.
Ooh.
Yes. So it means that your body is benefiting from more of a certain kind of nutrient.
Above 20%.
So you see
that
from here that,
like that
exactly.
Whoa.
But the bad ones are rather higher. So in such situations, you have to be very, very careful.
So here we see the saturated fat is 8%. That's very high.
Ideally, it's supposed to be.
But the dietary fiber here is 7%. So that means it's even lower.
Exactly.
And the added sugar is higher, 16%. And the vitamins, the calcium, we have vitamin D 0, calcium 2%. So that means they are actually very low.
Very low. So if it's below 5%, it's very low. And ideally, the bad ones are supposed to be below 5%.
But rather sometimes it's higher.
That is the situation
You know,
we find ourselves.
after the last discussion we had here with your colleague, like when I go to the shop site, okay, I had to go through it. I'm like, okay, this looks like sugar, and then I check the per serving. Okay, I don't have to finish it at once, even though I have a very sweet tooth. Yeah, but then I think this is very important for everybody to know.
It is. That's why we are championing this campaign, because it's very necessary.
Right. So now, food labels as a public health tools. Let's talk about it when it comes to preventing non-communicable diseases. How are food labels important as a health tool?
Okay, so like we discussed earlier about the front of package warning label, it's an alert. It stops someone from going in for a product. So when someone is stopped from going in for a product, what happens? The person won't end up eating the food high in sugar and high in salt and trans fats, which will translate to any form of disease. And just like the health claims you mentioned earlier, I wish they could project it. Those health claims, if you are able to understand and flip and read, you would realize that the product doesn't give what it's claiming to give. I found myself in a situation like that about a year ago. There was this almond milk product that was recommended to me.
I love almond milk.
I love almond milk.
Don't scare me.
No, just listen to the story. And you know, on the front of pack, it had this health claim that no added sugar.
Right.
And it came highly recommended from someone I trusted. So I took this milk for about 6 months, only to one day flip and decide to read. And I found out that the first 3 ingredients in the milk was water, less than 3% almond, and the other one was sucrose, which is sugar.
So what is sugar?
So if I hadn't read, I would have still been consuming
you'd have still been consuming.
That is how health claims work. You have to still flip and read to know what is actually in the product before you consume.
So now we've talked about the nutrition facts panel. We've also talked about ingredient list. Well, let's talk about the warning symbols.
Okay.
What are some of the warning symbols that we're supposed to be looking out for?
So some of the warning symbols should be high fat. Some warning symbols immediately tell you this food is high in fat. So the front of pack warning labeling can also be warning symbols like we see here. So high sugar, high saturated fat, high sodium, high fat, and then trans fats.
So how, all these are high. Can we go through them one by one, right?
Okay.
How does this affect people? So let's say high in sugar. What can you get out from high in sugar?
So when you consume more high sugar foods, one, it reduces your immunity and it makes you susceptible to a lot of diseases like diabetes, obesity, and we know that some of the risk factors of this non-communicable diseases are obesity. Yes. So when you eat a lot of food in sugar, that is what can happen to you.
All right. High in saturated fat?
Saturated fats, they all work in the same way because it's like more calories. You are consuming more calories. And the more calories you consume, the more you risk yourself to being obese or overweight, which translates to all of these diseases.
Wow. Even the sodium?
Yes.
Okay. It just keeps getting scarier and scarier. Now, let us let's now go into shopping. Now, can you give us some tips if we're going to shop? What are some things we should look out for and how we should actually go out there and shop smartly? I mean, if you're watching us right now, you can actually join the conversation on, how to shop smartly using food labels. You can send your questions if you want to ask her anything. All right? Let's just go.
Okay, so when it comes to shopping, here in Ghana, we have the supermarket and then the traditional market. So for someone who likes shopping like myself, there's this 5 rule I follow, and it's easy for everyone to follow. I call it the ABCDE rule. So the first one is to be attentive. When you go to the mall to shop, you have to focus.
Yeah, even the market.
Exactly. Go in for what you want. If possible, go with a list so that you don't deviate from what you are going in for, and don't go and shop on an empty stomach. Because when you enter the shop with an empty stomach, you would end up buying things you are not supposed to buy. And these things may be high in sugar or salt or any of the bad elements. Number 2 is to be careful of health claims.
Right.
Like I said before, some products will come with a health claim inscripted in front. But when you turn the back, you'd realize that there is more to the food product than what the health claim is offering.
Right, right.
Number 3, which is the C, is compare percentage daily values of foods with the same serving size. So we have this model here. Okay, so we have product A. Yeah, we have product A and product B.
Right.
So products A and product B are the same product, okay, with the same serving size, which is 4 grams per serving.
Right.
But when you look at the percentage daily value, on each of the box is different. So you realize that on product A, we have 5% of fat, 3% of saturated fat, sodium 5%, added sugars 4%, and fiber 18%, iron 22%, and calcium 12%.
Okay, so which is the opposite here?
Which is the opposite
here? The
here.
total fat here is 12%, saturated fat 15, sodium 13, added sugar 24, fiber 7, iron 10, calcium 8.
Okay. So which makes this one higher in fiber, iron, and then lower in sugar.
Yeah, and this one is higher in sugar, fat, and sodium.
Okay.
Wow.
So if you're in this position, which of them are you going to choose?
That.
That's excellent.
Right.
So when you
so basically you're just saying we can have 2 products that are
and
the
then
same
compare
thing.
them.
Yeah, you just have to compare them.
Exactly. Exactly. So you see, it's not that difficult.
It's not that difficult. Well, you need to go to the market or shopping with your clear mind.
Exactly. That's where the first point comes in. Be attentive.
Exactly. You don't rush.
Exactly.
You don't rush it.
And then we're on the 4th point, which is dietary trade-offs. So sometimes we find ourselves in situations where there is nothing we can do but to consume a particular food that is available.
Yeah.
And maybe that food may be high in sugar or salt. But make sure that when you take in that food, within the day, you would supplement it with another
Something
food which is low in salt or low in sugar, just so to balance out what you ate earlier. So just as the name goes, dietary trade-off, you are trading it off with what you ate earlier or what you bought earlier. And then the 5th one is explore.
Right.
Don't only focus on packaged foods. Explore the shop, go in for whole foods. And now let's go to the traditional markets.
Yeah.
You know, most of the foods in the traditional markets are whole foods or fresh foods. Hardly will you come by packaged foods.
So the real organic.
Maybe, but then you have to use your senses. That is why our senses come in. You compare the colors. How bright are the vegetables? An example is cucumber. When it's fresh, it's very green. But immediately it starts to deteriorate. The color changes to either yellow or white. Yeah. And then touch. Feel the product if you can. Smell it.
So you have to use your whole senses.
And then you taste it.
Okay, if you can.
Yeah. An example is tuna. I like tuna. But when you go to the markets, we have the salty tuna and the unsalty tuna. But these market women can deceive you. They'll tell you the salty one doesn't have salt. You would only take it home to find out there is actually salt in it. So you can just tell them to give you a little to taste and see before you take the product home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. I think this is this has been a very interesting conversation, and it's a conversation that needs to be had actually, especially with the surge of lifestyle diseases and other non-communicable diseases that are on the rise right now, and which is really scary. So it's not just about us exercising, but it's also about us looking at what we put in our mouth and making conscious efforts to actually put great things into our body. Now let's talk about the whole campaign. What's your call to action to people watching right now?
Okay, so to people watching, front of pack labels or food labels, just like warning signs, are simple tools, but then very powerful tools in helping us reduce the risk of chronic diseases in our society today. And as we go along to learn how to read labels, let's take our children along because they are the future and we owe them a very, very healthy future. So you don't just learn alone, but take the kids along and then
Right.
teach them how to also read labels.
All right. So what are some of the activities that GAND is having for this month?
Okay, so for this month, we are having media campaign, and we are also going to schools and churches and other places to educate them on label reading. We are also partnering with the ministry, the FDA, to come up with this policy of front of package warning label. Yes.
All right. So how can people follow you on social media?
So people can follow me on social media, on Recipe Dietitian, and also follow GAND on all social media platforms. You can engage with us. You can engage with us by liking, sharing, and commenting, and we are sure to respond.
Right. All right. Thank you so much. And what's the hashtag again?
Read the label.
Read the label.
Yes.
And I like the slogan. What's the slogan again? The tagline.
Behind every food label lies a story. Make yours a healthy one.
I love that. That's a very good way to end the show. I mean, end the conversation. Behind every food label lies a story. So make yours a healthy one. It's simple, it's straight. I don't need to explain anything. But we've been speaking to Georgina Ntem Elom, who's a registered dietitian, a culinary dietitian, and a healthy living advocate, and also a member of GAN. And this conversation has been about, how to shop smart in the market using food labels, and also because it's Nutrition Month. We're going to keep talking about this. We have to all save ourselves and help ourselves so we do not fall into any sort of diseases. Anyway, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be back with more.
Me pay so dear be chame. Sister me dad dear be chibia na me amshishimi. Akuna ida. Me meniti o sa me de me sakane be se. Be ida so te. Sika, se dia so demo. Hwe, juju so mo. Bag de ho dia. Me ba bi free.
So what you say bag na ma. Mo na me hwehwe o. Wow.
Say me nya kwanfo biem. Na na mo sori o.
It's time to promote volunteerism, active citizenship, and patriotism in Ghanaian society,
where we shine the spotlight on the unsung heroes among us.
Today, we're not just launching a program, we're igniting a revolution of skills, dreams, and hope.
On Volunteers TV, we highlight and celebrate people and groups that are great examples to us all.
Every single region in Ghana, we're doing something.
Good.
So no one's being left behind.
Over 800 kids that come to school, so having an extra classroom, extra resources will be really, really beneficial.
If you're a volunteer, you are actually serving because you are giving up your time and resources for nothing in return.
Volunteers TV, Sunday at 6:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Welcome, it's Play to Aid.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to Aid, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, Play to Aid. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.
Portuguese.
Play to Aid every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Edna, let's begin.
The Play to Aid game show is proudly sponsored by Tang Palace, Giraffe Island, and VVIP.
Many thanks for still joining us on Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. And it's now time for us to have conversation on something very important, maybe something a lot of people have been overlooking. We hear of the name, we don't really pay much attention about it. But what really is it? It's hepatitis vaccine, the symptoms, the causes, and all that. And one gentleman has taken it upon himself to really go out there and engage the public on it, and also some testing is being done and a vaccine is being given out. He's no other person. He doesn't really need much introduction. Ochame Kwame.
Yes, my brother. Charlie, what's up?
I do for you, Ochame Kwame. How are you?
By God's grace, Vim Day pa.
The way you are using the music industry and all your artistry, let me put it that way, to push agenda with this one, the hepatitis B or hepatitis C, both.
Yes, both.
I want to find out from you, where did this start from? How did you start this? How did you create the idea that I want to go out there and educate the public on hepatitis and also profess some solutions?
Okay, so when I was getting married, it's like 17 years ago. You know, when you are getting married, good doctors tell you to go and check for HIV, check for hepatitis, check your blood status, whether you are OA, you know, and then make sure you are not sickle cell.
Yeah.
So my then girlfriend and wife, we went to a lab to go and check. And then when we checked, the most expensive of all the screening or the test was the hepatitis B at that time test, which was about $25. It's 17 years ago, 16 years ago. And so at that time I was Artist of the Year, or a very, very popular musician. But the $25 was a bit tough on me. So I said, hey, I'm Artist of the Year and I'm finding it difficult to pay $25 for a test. Then how about the regular person? How about the woman, you know, by the roadside selling bananas and, you know, so how can we take this information, or how can we go out there and do free screening? So I set up an NGO with two friends of mine who are doctors, Dr. Kofi Apia and Kwambodu, all in Kumasi. And so we set up an NGO, and then we started screening. We started organizing free screening. And then, so when we started organizing free screening without any knowledge, so as we started getting public health strategies and help, and later we will partner with Ghana Health Services, and then they will come together with us. And after 3 or 4 years, we realized that the prevalence rate at that time was 1 out of 6 Ghanaians. And so we realized that the 80-something% that tested negative would always slip back into the red zone. So we decided to add vaccination. So it became free screening and free vaccination. Exactly. So, and with the vaccines, they are usually taken 3 times. So you need to go to wherever you are going, and then find a hospital that is willing to partner with you, because the second and the third doses must be taken in the same place that you went to organize the clinic. You know, so we will partner with hospitals. So that's my story. So 28th of July is World Hepatitis Day. So for the past 16 years,
you've been doing this.
Every July we do a hepatitis advocacy.
So you choose a particular location and you do it?
Yeah, so to be honest, we've gone to every part of Ghana, Sunyane, Kumasi, Tamale, everywhere. You know, so we choose a place. And this year we are going to Kaswa.
Kaswa?
Yes, on Friday. Yes, we are going to Kaswa.
But from what you have been doing, I'm sure you've spoken to a number of people. You think the education on hepatitis has really gone down well?
I think that when we started, hepatitis wasn't very popular. And because most of the donor agencies that, you know, we Africans, we wait for white people to bring us money, and then they tell us what to do and we complain. You know, so most of the donor agencies that put money in advocacy and in health management, it goes for tuberculosis, HIV, malaria. You know, so hepatitis was sort of waiting for us to galvanize or to organize ourselves and put it. But in the last 10 years, I think the government has done enough, done a lot. They can do better, obviously, if they make the investments in in the treatment, in medication, there's a lot that we must do. But I think hepatitis, especially B, has become quite popular.
Why?
Yes. Because the World Hepatitis Alliance is screening and doing free vaccination in July. The WHO is doing work. Ghana Health Service is doing work. Nurses are doing work. NGOs are doing work. I'm doing work. Currently, I've partnered with Noguchi. Noguchi and MDS Lancet Laboratory. So when you go to Noguchi, throughout the whole month of July to maybe December, you can go and get free screening, because the test strips that we use, once we have some left, you can go to Noguchi throughout the whole month and get free screening.
How do you fund this?
So we get sponsorship from other NGOs. We go to corporate bodies, but for a long time we just decided that, okay, these are the cost points of what we are doing. We need screening. So for about 13 years ago, MDS Lancet came on board. They said, you know what, we are taking care of all the screening. So they will bring the flaps, they will bring the test strips, they bring the best equipment. So they will come and do everything. So I will, through my money, I will organize, get a place, pay for venue, get sound, get nurses, and then we do. And then we also have in the past solicited the support of our friends. So my friends who are doctors, they always come. When we organize the screening, we do a pre-test counseling and a post-test counseling. And the pre-test counseling, what we do is we find a doctor or a public health practitioner who understands the local language of the people we are trying to communicate to. So we do it in Ghana. Hepatitis, where does it come from? What are the types? How can you stay away from it? What are the stigmas attached to it? And then in Ghana, and then we do it in Akan as well. So wherever we go, we have 2 pre-test counselors to do it. And then once you are getting your results, if you are testing negative, you just go straight to another set of nurses who will give you the vaccine immediately. And if you test positive, you speak to a clinical psychologist who is also a doctor, so that all the miseducation and misinformation around hepatitis will come down. You know, so that is how we do. So we've been calling our friends, we've been working with government, we've been working with ministry, working with Legon, Lancet. So we find out what the cost points are and we bring ourselves together.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. I'm sure someone who may be watching has heard hepatitis. What really is it? And also the symptoms one will see, or the aftermath at the end of the day. How is this going to affect your body as when you contract this deadly
so hepatitis, like HIV, is a virus. This is a hepatitis virus, and we all know how viruses are transmitted from mother to child mostly, or sometimes through sex. In the case of hepatitis B, it is predominantly from mother to child. Yes, and sometimes when people test positive for hepatitis, their husbands run away from them. They think that because they've been promiscuous because of the sex element. You know, to a very negligent point. I remember there was a time where we had information that hepatitis was spread through sharing of spoons and sweat, and so footballers will not play with other footballers where science have come to see that all that is negligible. The key transfer of hepatitis is from mother to child.
And how does the mother get it?
So the mother can also get it from the mother. Exactly. Or probably in the past, you remember that before HIV became very serious, blood was not screened. You are in the hospital, you need blood, you are dying. Your sister comes quickly, they take their blood, and before screening it, gives it to you immediately. If that person has hepatitis, you are also going to get it. Or in rare cases, during sex, when they are cuts, but predominantly from mother to child. So this is how the virus moves. Now, once you have, you get hepatitis, it doesn't mean that you are going to die. A very small percentage of the people who test positive for hepatitis are going to die. So what you do is that you do a double check, and then you go to a potent place, an ISO certified place like MDS Lancet, and then you go and do a viral load test, where they find out how much of the antigens is in your body, or how much of the disease is in your body. Then based on how much you have, the percentage of the viruses you have, then they can tell they can give the way to a doctor for a doctor to tell whether you are going to need treatment or you just need to make lifestyle adjustments.
Okay.
Hepatitis, once it grows in your system, it can lead to cancer, where they call that they call cirrhosis.
Yes, cirrhosis.
You know, and if you have hepatitis, this one I'm not a doctor, but because you asked what are some of the symptoms,
you have been in that. You have been pushing this agenda for 16 years. So.
You might get some pain on the lower side of your chest or your right chest. You could have discoloring of the eyes. Your urine could be yellow, like in the case of jaundice, or you could feel weak sometimes. Some of the people also get hepatitis, it's severe, but they are asymptomatic, which means you can't see any symptoms. Or sometimes the symptoms also manifest like malaria. You know, so what the important thing is that throughout the whole month of July, we tell people to get tested because early detection is key. Remember that we said it's about the percentage of the viruses in your system that's going to hurt you. The earlier you test, the better.
And we also understand that it affects your liver. Is that true?
Yes, it does. It affects your liver. Eventually, that is where the cirrhosis is caused that kills you eventually.
Looking at from the first year to your 16th year, how many people will you say that have come in for the screening and also for the vaccination?
Maybe for the screening, maybe I think we've screened 12,000 people. Because when we started, our target was to screen 1,000 people. But when we added the vaccination, then the process became slower because now they must screen and go and get vaccine. So it shifted between 600 and 400. And we do we've done lots of, there are years that we did maybe 10 clinics around Ghana. So I think that between my work with Lancet and my work with Noguchi, maybe all together we've done about 12,000 screening.
Well, you are doing a very good job.
Thank you.
You think that you still need people to support?
100%. We need, because the World Hepatitis Alliance, the new tagline for hepatitis this year is that let us break it down. Let us explain that there's A, there's B, there's C, and then this one doesn't have a complete cure. This one can be treated. This one has treatment. And let us break it down for people to understand what hepatitis is. And so we need more people. I think that to help WHO to communicate hepatitis conversation properly, we need media. And we don't have to use this fire service strategy. Once the fire happens in July, we all come and quench it and run back to our businesses. You know, so we need a rollout, a year plan. The hepatitis policy that we have in Ghana was done about 6-7 years ago. I think it's getting old. We need to revamp it. You know, so we need a new policy document, and then we need government to show a bit more interest. But I think that currently, the thing that we need is to forge a bit more media partner. The world's idea is that by 2030, we need to lower the cases of death by 65% or just delete hepatitis completely. So no HEP by 2030. It is impossible without collaboration.
Very true, very true. But what we can see on the screen right now, you aren't just looking at the hepatitis B and C. You're also looking at malaria screening, anemia check, counseling, and education. Share with us, why other things too on that day?
Because our target is to always go into the market centers so that when our mothers quickly are selling in the afternoon on their 30 minutes break, they can quickly come and get the screening and the vaccination for free. So as we are already screening and we've taken their blood samples, what else can we do with the blood samples that we have taken so that we can give them a bit more information? That's why we added malaria screening and then anemia check, and then we give them the counseling as well. So this one is happening on the 25th. And we are, as I said, we are going to Kaswa, the Kaswa old station. We are targeting market men and women. This Friday. 28th of July is World Hepatitis Day. But because it happens on a Wednesday or something, we want to do the screening this Friday, so that on Wednesday, the whole team will go and visit the Minister of Health and try to share with him what we have done so far and how we can collaborate to do more.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yes.
So you start at 9 a.m. and end at what time?
We end at around 4:35. Once it gets dark, because we're dealing with blood and we don't have light. So once it starts getting dark, we start packing.
Chairman Kwame, I can see some sponsors on. You want to acknowledge them?
Yes. So I want to say a very big thank you to Anglo Gold Ashanti, Total Energies, UGL, Bedlock, LabMat, MDS Lancet Laboratories, MES Equipment Limited, MHK, Noguchi, MDS Lancet, Noguchi. To everyone who's been with us from day one, thank you very much. And then we have a lot to do to create a healthy, wealthy Ghana.
Chairman Kwame, well, he didn't come in the building for us to talk about music. This time around, he came for us to talk about Hepatitis B and C Day, which is on the 28th of July 2025. But then there's a screening that will be done on 25th of July 2025, this Friday at Kaswa.
So before we go, so currently we are at Kaswa. From here, I'm going to Kaswa. We have public health nurses throughout the market and the communities, educating people and inviting them for Friday. So that one is happening right now. So when you see you are in Kaswa and you see one of us in a t-shirt, we are not Sakawa. We love you. That's why we have come to you.
Beautiful one there. Thank you so much for your time and keep doing the good job. Let's bring you the entertainment highlights of the day.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. This is powered by GhanaWeekend.com and presented by Ni Komite Kome. Now to our first highlight. Ghanaian-Belgian football Jeremy Doku, currently a winger for Manchester City and the Belgian national team, has officially received his Ghanaian passport. Now, Jeremy was born in Belgium to Ghanaian parents. Doku's move symbolizes a personal reaffirmation of his heritage. Despite continuing to play for Belgium, the dual citizenship highlights a growing trend among second-generation diaspora athletes seeking to honor their roots. The news has been warmly welcomed in Ghana, with the fans seeing it as a powerful nod to his ancestry and a cultural bridge between the two footballing nations. Now to our next highlight. Bill Cosby has reacted to the sudden passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner, his co-star from The Cosby Show, likening the pain to the tragic murder of his own son, Ernest Cosby, in 1997. Warner, 54, died in an accidental drowning while on vacation in Costa Rica with his daughter. Cosby spokesperson Andrew White revealed the news stirred deep emotions, recalling the close bond between Malcolm Jamal and Ernest during their youth. Cosby praised Warner's legacy, calling him a role model for young men and a lasting symbol of hope for those who grew up watching the Huxtables.
Breaking news from the entertainment world today. Malcolm Jamal Warner, a favorite actor from the 80s hit The Cosby Show, has died. Warner drowned off the coast of Costa Rica yesterday. Costa Rica National Police telling ABC News his official cause of death was asphyxia. Near a beach in Limon, Costa Rica, this happened. Police say he was caught by a high current in the water. Malcolm Jamal Warner was 54 years old.
Now to our next highlight. Hollywood icon Bruce Willis, known for his roles in Die Hard and Pulp Fiction, can no longer speak due to frontotemporal dementia, FTD, a progressive brain disorder affecting communication and behavior. His condition, initially diagnosed as asphyxia in 2022, has since worsened. Willis's family confirmed the news, expressing gratitude for the public support. The diagnosis sheds light on a rare but devastating illness, sparking conversations about caregiving, aging, and the toll of neurodegenerative diseases on public figures. Now to our next highlight. Renowned Nigerian artist Lemi Garioku has credited Afrobeats legend Fela Kuti for introducing him to the writings of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. In an interview with Ghana Weekend, Garioku revealed that it was within Fela's intellectually vibrant environment that he discovered Nkrumah had authored 15 books. Known for designing over 25 of Fela's album covers, Karaoke says the artist circle was a hub of revolutionary thought that deeply influenced his political and artistic awakening. His story underscores the powerful intersection of art, music, and Pan-African literature in shaping cultural consciousness.
Book, I said, okay. It was with Fela that I saw that Kwame Nkrumah wrote like at least 15 books. A lot of Africans don't have a clue. And we read all those books. Important titles I remember now, Africa Must Unite. You wrote that around 1967. Can you imagine? Till now, Africa has not united. He talked about the African High Command, that we needed our own army. You know, instead of waiting for United Nations. You understand? Till now. Then he set up Young Pioneers, Ghana Pioneers, right? So we were the political youth wing of Fela's Kalakuta Republic. So we took that lead from Nkrumah's idea and we set up Young African Pioneers. So Fela used to call me and my colleagues YAP boys, YAP, Young African Pioneers. You understand? So
now to our next highlight. Veteran Black Stars chief drummer Joseph Langabell has stated he will never have a wedding ceremony, citing both tradition and personal convictions. In a Ghana Weekend interview, Langabell, who has children and grandchildren, explained that although he considers himself married in practice, he sees weddings as unnecessary and financially wasteful. Rooted in Ghana culture and influenced by his mother's example, he argued that lavish ceremonies don't guarantee lasting unions, questioning the point of spending heavily on weddings that may not yield stability or children. You can read more about this and all these stories on GhanaWeekend.com. Now let's check out Channel 1.
All right, welcome back, and that's the entertainment highlight of the day. And now it's time for us to have another conversation, and we're going to be speaking about the Emerge Us Conference 2025. So in the studio with us is Dr. Angela Harris, who's the founder and executive producer of the Emerge Us Conference, and Kenny Daniels, who's the executive director of the Emerge Us Conference and also a filmmaker. You're all welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Amazing.
Very well.
All right, so one must be wondering, even I am wondering, what is the Emerge Us Conference all about?
So the Emerge Us Conference is a 9-year investment of 3 different events that have been in the U.S. for 9 years. A lot of the people from Africa have come to the U.S. to be a part of the Emerge Us Conference. But the whole overall view is to make Africa great again. It's emerging as spiritually, economically, and intelligently to bring all of these things together that's going to have to be done in order to make Africa great again.
Right, right.
And exactly what are you really looking out or how is the engagement going to be in this conference? Is it a group of people coming together lecturing or a group of people coming together sharing ideas? How's the shape like?
Well, it's a holistic view. A lot of times people, they're narrow-minded. And so when you're narrow-minded, you only do one thing. But Emerge Us Conference is designed to hit all areas because there's different people that are going to be involved. So day one is the entertainment gala, the Emerge Us Entertainment Gala. It's going to be so amazing. We have someone coming in from Jamaica with the theme song, We Have to Make Africa Great Again, by the name of Bingy Blaze. We have my brother, Kevin Cates, who is a Grammy-nominated, multi-platinum, #1 copy. You know, he's sold over 30 million copies of records for all of the big artists in America. But he has a project that we're working on that's going to be released in Ghana called the HUMEN Project, H-U-M-E-N Project. And it's dealing with men's mental health through hip hop. Then we have Ghanaian artists coming, we have Nigerian artists coming, we have different people coming, but it's for spirit-tainment, edutainment by the way of entertainment. So that when people leave, they're not gonna just leave entertained, they're gonna leave with something to go home with.
Right. So talking about we gotta make Africa great again, how did that theme come up and why is it important to have this conversation now?
Maybe well, Kenny has his
thank you.
Okay, so I think the act of making Africa great again, so many years back, we all know Africa has been on top of it all, even till right now. It's just that the narrative has been making it look like Africa should always be at the receiving end, at the begging end, at the end of wanting to struggle to make itself relevant. We are the definition of relevance. So there is a shift, there has been a shift, and with the goal and the vision of Kwame Nkrumah, we are making sure that we bring back this agenda through this conference. So the lost glory, the lost value, the awareness we've lost, we're trying to make sure we bring it back through this conference. And I think this is the right time to make Africa great again.
Right. I like the fact that you said we're trying to bring Africa's glory back. But now, how does it connect with you, Dr. Angela Harris? Obviously, you're American, and you're Black American. So how does it, connect?
First of all, I would like to say, for the record, I was born in America. I'm very African, but I'm from heaven.
Okay. You're from what, heaven?
I'm from heaven.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is that I know the call that's on my life. Africa has always been an interest of mine from the time I was small. I started visiting Africa at 14, and knowing that the whole, the spiritual values of Africa is what has distorted people's vision. That's something that I never lost. I've always seen the spiritual value of Africa, because if the first account of life is here, then how can Africa be a third world?
Yeah.
It's the first world. And the way that it interests me is because I know my purpose in life. And so my purpose is to do exactly what I'm doing right now. Is to make sure that the value of the spiritual side of us, which is our predestined purpose, that we are aware of that and accountable for that, emerging it into knowing that Africa has all of the resources that the whole entire world need. If Africans, people in Africa, I don't want to say Africans because we're all what you would call Africans if we're related to the source of life, right? But if people in Africa would see the value of Africa like people on the outside of Africa, then the people in Africa would be taking control of what Africa's destiny is. That's why we're here, to make sure that that happens. It's a conference, but it's not a conference, it's a movement. It's a movement to make sure that we're making Africa great again, but we introduce it on all levels. So on day one, we have the entertainment gala. Day two is the education and the assignment to make sure that people are emerging their spiritual, the economic values, and all into one. And then on day three is when we honor those who have done things for people outside of themselves. Every person that's honored at our awards show, the Black I Am Awards, this is our 9th year. And so this is gonna be our 9th year celebration here in Accra, and I'm very excited about it. But the Black is an acronym, I need to say that. It stands for Beautiful Living Ancestor Controlling Kingdom. Beautiful because the Father judges our heart. Living ancestors because the Holy Spirit that guides us and leads us, that's what lives inside of us. And controlling our kingdom is walking in our divine purpose. If everybody does that, then the puzzle comes together, and then everything else falls into place.
Wow. Kenny, which people are eligible for this event?
Every person, every African. Just like she said, if you've been able to do something for someone, if your goal is selfless, you are eligible. So everyone is expected to attend. Then if you know that you know someone, if you know someone who you believe has been impactful to another person, if you know someone that his or her goal is to make Africa great again, that has been contributing positively to the development of Africa, then such person should be recommended for honoree and also to be part of the event as well.
And it starts at what time?
We have morning sessions, which is 9 a.m. Of course, then we have the evening session.
Evening sessions.
All through the 3 days.
Right. And the dates?
On the date is 17th. No, not 17th. We switched the date.
September?
Yeah, we rescheduled it from the 11th to the 13th of September.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we rescheduled it because we have new partners and sponsors and different people that have caught the vision, and now they're going to make it plain. They're going to help us to make it plain.
Right.
So, yeah.
So where will it be happening?
When? Where? So we are in the phase right now of deciding. We have 2 different venues. So by the end of this week, we'll decide which venue is going to fit best. We're consulting with our partners now on that.
And how can people actually follow to, be abreast of what's going on, especially when the new venue is actually announced? So how can people follow?
We're definitely going to update all of the media. We had a big press conference back on June the 24th. We're going to update all of the media, and then, from all of our handles, and, a lot of the people that are involved are also influencers and people that also can get the word out there as well.
They have contacts you can share. People can follow on that contact and get in touch where the venue will be so that they will be able to get enough information as to where we are coming on the day of the event.
Okay, so the website is blackwoodworldwide.com, and all social media hashtag Emergers Conference 2025. Then there's a telephone number just in case, 059-102-3739, 059-102-3739. So we can be reached there, and the hashtag, like I said, the Emerge Us Conference 2025.
Right. I think this has been a very great conversation.
Yeah.
But what would be your last word to viewers right now?
Yeah, so like I always tell every Africans, right, every black person worldwide, we're all one people. She said something that in Africa we don't really understand our value as much as Africans in diaspora. But I'll say to an extent, we do understand our value to an extent, but our limitation has always been the powers that be, the elites, and also the lack of self-education. We are always carried away by the euphoria of, the misconception. So I urge every Africans out there to make sure we get self-educated and we try to connect with our roots and understand our value as a people.
Beautiful, and that is Dr. Angela Harris, executive producer in the Emerge Us Conference and also executive director for this conference, Kenny Daniels. I am Philip Nilate.
And I'm Chris Carter.
It's been an interesting one with you all. But now we have to cross over to the presidency. The Lands Minister, Ahmad Kofi Boah, is addressing the press. This is part of the accountability series. Enjoy your day and keep watching Channel 1 TV.
Thank you.
This morning we are privileged to have on hand the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, who also doubles as the MP for the Elembele constituency of the Western region. He is here to give an account of happenings in his sector and also speak to